could forget just what we had, spend all of my days outside my head, without all these feelings we've been fed, forget everything that I once said. Could you move on? I don't want you
to our commentary teams, Zach and Nick.
A very good evening to you, Robert Hazelden. Hi, everybody. Nice to have you company wherever you're tuning in all around the world via YouTube or Twitch or Facebook. Welcome to Friday Night Motorsport for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, live and exclusive, also commercial-free and dangerous right here on Do a Drift Esports. Zach Caban and Nico Pop with you for TCR from the island. It's production cars double-header, of course, into stock cars tonight, and the production car is the TCR machine. For the second time this week, of course, the Audi in action, but it's on Australian soil for the first time in this Gentleman Sim Racing Club Series season. Of course, as we wind our way down through the back end of Season 2, getting ready for, of course, the new season starting up towards the back end of September. Nick, good evening to you.
Good evening, Jack.
Racing at the island, and tonight a unique double-header, of course, TCR into stock car, and the TCR field. I feel as though we're in for a real cracker here.
Yeah, these cars are good around here. Long corners, very little brake zone, so it's going to be a lot of full throttle stuff around here.
Indeed, it is. Of course, 12 turns. You all know this circuit, 4.445 kilometres. The race distance tonight, 45 minutes. So we're expecting that to be somewhere in the vicinity of 27 laps. Nico and I were trying to crunch the numbers earlier. There's a funny story there. We'll get back to that shortly. And so we're expecting, provided we go green all the way, 26, 27 laps of racing here tonight. And a lot to be excited about as far as the stock cars are concerned. And that race will follow immediately after this one concludes. And we'll have a look at the championship points in just a moment. But as per usual on a Friday night, it's all about the What More and Postlethwaite show when we get to the stock cars a little bit later on. Now, let's talk about a couple of other interesting issues that are doing the rounds at the moment. We're, of course, waiting for the new series schedule to come up in iRacing land, but they've got some new free content for sim racing users around the world and sim racing members. And that's always a good thing, Nick, because it's not a cheap experience. It's cheaper than the real world thing, but sim racing, the costs do add up from time to time. So for iRacing to put a little bit of extra free content out there helps us immensely.
Helps us, helps all the newbies, helps everyone out. Really, it's actually quite good. It is an expensive hobby, but I mean, I wouldn't think it's more expensive than, say, a radio controlled kind of thing, or something along those lines. We don't have to pay for fuel, we don't have to pay for damage. Just got to pay for new content.
Exactly right. And of course, for us, Phillip Island is not new. We're of course here in the last season, as well. And as we join you on circuit here, watching the tail stages of qualifying, we can tell you that Simon Ferris is on top of the timesheets at this point in time from Brett Selbywood and Jackson Rayhana. Michael Hammond fourth fastest. Not often you see Michael Hammond in a field, unless it's Monday night in the GT series. Not often you see him that far down the order. But qualifying's one thing, racing quite another. And a point that you wanted to make with regards to this circuit is tyre, Nick, and when we look at the track temperature, you'll understand why the tyres are going to be a talking point tonight. We're racing at around 1:15, 1:30 in the afternoon there. This is sim time, of course, at the opposite end of the year, the 15th of November. So for Southern Hemisphere races, it's the 15th of November. For Northern Hemisphere races, it's the 15th of May. Our sim time. Clear, 20 degrees, which is about the typical spring day at the island. But the track temperature, Nick, is going to be the huge talking point tonight. 46 degrees.
46 degrees at Phillip Island. That's a first.
On the track,
yeah. Also, it's long corners. The tyres are going to be loaded up for quite a long time around some of these corners. So, especially the first half of the circuit. So, tyres are going to get torched.
Indeed, they are. Just looking at the other race facts, the northwest is fairly strong too, 29, 30 kilometres an hour, somewhere around there. And, of course, the race, as we say, 45 minutes. Pace car speed, 97 kilometres an hour. Pit lane speed, 72 kilometres an hour. We are expecting one stop midway through this race tonight. The incident count, penalties after every 17 points are required. And then every 10 points after that. Fast repair limit of just 1 here. In production cars, there will be 3 in the stock car race. Now, I've got some breaking news from the real world for you. I don't know if you've got the F1 app, but if you do, Nick, you would have just gotten an alert. Williams have announced the sale of their Formula One team to a US investment company. Dalton Capital. Yeah, exactly right. So, Dalton Capital have brought the Williams, the iconic British marque, in Formula One. So that's the breaking news tonight. On to the subject of the evening at hand, let's have a look at the championship points here. And we're past the midway point of the championship now, and Matt Stratford has the lead here, and he does so quite comfortably. Actually, no, I stand corrected. It's not as comfortable as I thought. I read the 2 as 7. It's 2:25 playing 2:08. And Simon Ferris on 1:92. So all those men expected to feature prominently tonight. Simon Ferris has been the big improver in terms of this series, of course. Last season, it was the Michael Hammond show on a Friday night. Rick Vincent on 186 and Nick, of course, on 183, but not running tonight is my co-commentator. He'll be strictly with me for 45 minutes here. Jackson Rayhana, therefore, should inherit, if he finishes strongly, 5th position, at least from Nick tonight. He's on 161, 151 for John O'Turner, Warwick Sharp 127, and 124 apiece for both Ben Snell and Brenton Hobson. So what's your take on all of that, Nick? Obviously, Matt Stratford's been impressive. So too Simon Ferris, actually.
Yeah, I'd say keep an eye on the top 5. Ferris, Stratford, Selby Wood, Rayhana and Hammer. They're going to be the ones to beat. Give Hammer a couple more minutes and I reckon he'll be in the top 3.
All right. He's slipped to 5th in the standings here at the moment. Now,
we only got 50
we
seconds.
are in. No, we've only got 45 seconds to go in this session. So, time is running out. Simon Ferris, 139.7. 140.0 for Matt Stratford. 140.0 for Brett Selby Wood. 140.1 for Jackson Rayhana. 140.2 for Michael Hammond and Rick Vincent. 140.3 for Grant Gill, 140.5 for James Wood, 140.6 for Tony DeRossi. They make up the top 10, 9 tenths per second, if that, separating the top 10 there. Outside, Ben Collard, Paul Nichols, Jared Daly, Parry Aristakis and Adam Cogler making up the top 15, and we should have a field of in excess of 20 tonight, with 23 drivers already clocking a qualifying time here, and a lot of drivers down towards the back of the field that have either logged into practice and done at least a lap, or of just sitting in the server waiting to burn from the stern, and I think that might be Brenton Hobson in the mix to do just that. So looking forward to what might unfold here across the course of 45 minutes. Oculair supply the aerial shots for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club on a Friday night for Dual Drift Esports. Great to have them on board once again. Picturesque part of the world is Phillip Island. Of course, affectionately known as the gateway to hypothermia, but anything but in terms of the track temperature and the ambient temperature on this particular occasion, as we say. Track temperature looking... Sorry?
I was just saying Peter Hunter jumped up now.
Yes, he has, actually. That's a good point. 139.79. So have a look at that. Peter Hunter on the last lap of the session, and we didn't see him cross the line. he's only 100th of a second away from Simon Ferris. What a last-minute burst from Peter Hunter to get a 1:39.7. Excuse me. So, they're the only two in the 39s. Then Stratford, Selbywood, Hammond and Rayhana. So Hammond improved, actually put a 10th extra in the books there to lob in front of Jackson Rayhana by 0.003 of a second. Have a look at that. That's the third row split for you. 140.149 playing 140.146. Just incredible. And Rick Vincent, a 1 minute 40.246. So those three are incredibly tight on the grid at the moment. Equally as impressive, the gap between Stratford and Selbywood on the second row, 0.073 separating them. So, I mean, incredibly tight margins between first and second, third and fourth, fifth and sixth. Very impressive stuff. In the end, we had the top 11 separated by just under a second. So on its day, this could throw up a terrific race, but tyres is going to be the talking point, and I dare say that everyone's going to have to take at least two when they get into the pit bay partway through this race. 20, as we say, probably 26, 27 laps coming up here from the island. Touch and go as to when we get back to the line in that last lap, of course, whether we get back before or after the 45-minute mark. It depends very much on race pace and a few other factors, of course, whether we get a caution or not as well. But Phillip Island, like Virginia on Wednesday night, a circuit that has a lot of runoff area and shouldn't necessarily trigger a safety car unless, of course, in the stock car case, it's a competition one.
Shouldn't is the key word.
Exactly.
We know in stock cars there will be one, regardless. So this will be interesting to play out. I mean, the front axle is the biggest, most important thing on these cars because it's front-wheel drive. It does the turning, the steering, the accelerating, the braking. So keeping those tyres alive with these long corners is going to be tough, especially in this heat. What did we say track temp was? 46?
46, 47, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully these guys have turned their tyre pressures down and got enough fuel to make it to the end. But if you're going to stop, you might as well take some fuel out and sprint hard and go for it.
The launch pad of an enormous weekend of motorsport, of course, all culminating on Monday morning with the 104th running of the Indianapolis 500. Our focus and attention for the next short while, however, is on the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit there in Victoria, and round number 7 of both the production car series and the stock car series, as we do Friday Night Motorsport for you on Do It Drift Esports. At the end of the broadcast, I'll update you on free practice 1 for MotoGP, the Styrian Grand Prix, and we'll also, of course, tell you what's ahead as far as this weekend is concerned. Indianapolis 500, Monday morning, 3 a.m. on Fox. Don't forget about that. That's the key one this weekend as far as we're all concerned, although I think there will be a few people tuning in to see if MotoGP throws up anything like it threw up last weekend, and we've got our fingers crossed that that isn't the case. It's a once in a 1,000-year sort of freak incident, that, as far as we're concerned. So the grid is set. We are set to go here, ripping and tearing and roaring around the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit with the front row of Simon Ferris and Peter Hunter, Matt Stratford and Brett Selbywood on the second row, Michael Hammond and Jackson Rayhana the third row, Rick Vincent and Grant Gill the fourth row, James Wood and Tony De Rossi the fifth row, then Ben Collard, Paul Nichols, Jared Daly, Harry Aristarchus, Adam Coughlin, Lee Williamson, Michael Latta and Anthony Visma. Set and away. We didn't get the revs rising there, it was just the green flag, and out of all of that, Harry Aristarchus got a good start. 4 wide further back in the pack. Harry was originally 14th. I think he's slipping up there into the top 10 as they hit turn 1. He's got by Nico, and he's got by, I think, Tony De Rossi as well. Great start from Harry Aristarchus as they make their way through turn 1 into the southern loop for the first time. Normally we get the revs rise and the cars roar, but tonight everyone was pretty much running silent as the green flag waved. It caught us all by surprise as they get out of turn 2 for the first time on the rundown to Honda Corner.
Yeah, these cars have launch control, so they're limited to about 4,000 RPM, so we don't generally hear them too much.
It was almost like watching a Formula restart, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
Simon Ferris and Peter Hunter were still side by side going into turn 4, so a really good start. Poor start, Jackson Rayhana. He's dropped back into about 6th position. didn't improve. He's been passed already, but so far so good.
Hammer time challenge in the top 3. Looks like he's looking underneath as well.
Oh, contact! Round goes. The 292 or 282, I should say, Peter Hunter. I just had the screen freeze on me, so I couldn't exactly pick up who it was immediately. So Hunter and Ferris, after running most of the opening lap side by side, it ends in disaster for Hunter. He's at the back of the field. He'll be heading straight for pit lane, I would suspect. That fast repair is about to come in very, very handy. Round they come onto the main straight. First lap in the books. Good delivery there for Simon Ferris. I love it. Across the start-finish line. Michael Hammond in all of that has got his way to the front. You shouldn't be surprised by that. Stratford looking all over the back of Simon Ferris. Through to turn 1 they go. Doohan corner. On the way to the southern loop, and Ray Harner sits there in position number 4, having got by Brett Selby Wood. Tony De Rossi, the big mover on the opening lap, from 10th up to 6th. Parry Anastakis from 14th to 9th. So 2 big movers there. Nico sits right there in 10th position, ahead of Lee Williamson. And Nico's applying pressure to Parry Anastakis there around the outside. And what can he do under brakes? The answer is nothing at the moment. Won't be able to stop Parry. Oh no, Spitter! Spitter the 147. That's Tony De Rossi. He's gone round. Also round with him, I think, was Grant Gill. So they're both going to lose a tremendous amount of time in all of that. There was a third car off as well. And actually a fourth car too. So there's been a lot of cars running off the circuit. Turn 4 that time around as they head through Siberia up towards the hay shed. So Grant Gill in trouble early as well.
Peter Hunter's just rejoined. He's rejoined in last in 26th. He's just coming through Stoner Corner now.
Ray Harner putting their pressure on, trying to find a way by Matt Stratford. Unable to do that just now. Now what we should do too, ladies and gentlemen, for some of you that are wondering why I'm unsure of who some people are, well, the simple fact of the matter is some of these guys change liveries week in, week out. So you've got to get your head around a new livery before you're absolutely certain who it is. Across the line we go. Michael Hammond leads. Running familiar colours. Across the line into turn 1. Second is Simon Ferris. Third is Matt Stratford. Then Jackson Rayhana, Brett Selby Wood. Then Paul Nichols is up into 6th spot in all of that. Beneficiary of all that rubbish that was happening in the last lap. Brenton Hobson from 24th to 7th, if you don't mind. And Parry Anastakis hits 8th. Dylan Gray, a big mover too. 21st up into 10th. And everything else. Glenn Riddell, 27th up into 16th as well. So a lot of big movers on the opening lap. We had 26 starters in total as they head towards Honda Corner once more.
Dinko in 6th. That's pretty good.
Oh no, straight across the grass. Jeez, the 32's in the wall. That's Jared Daly. Oh, that was unlucky. And now look at this at the head of the field. We pick up the 29, that's Anthony Visma. Tony De Rossi, Ben Collard all in that battle as well. A lot of action very early on here at the island, and not all of it because of tyres, Nick, which was one of the big talking points coming into this race.
I think they're all just trying to get position, get racing, and then I think worry about that later.
Sure.
Too wide in these last 2 turns. Far out.
I mean, that's insane. Unlucky. One car getting shunted onto the grass there. Lost 1-2 spots, but didn't lose too much time, and will be able to tag back onto the back of that freight train down the main straight here. So, as we say, round 7 of the championship. There are just 3 rounds after this. The champion will be crowned when we get to Mount Panorama, and we're looking forward to that immensely in 3 weeks' time. So what's that? That's going to put us up near September 11 for you, for those of you that want to mark that in your diaries. We ride on board here with Paul Nichols. He's got Parry Anastakis on his tail and Lee Williamson as well. Nico hopefully won't be feeling the pressure that we're riding with him at the moment. let's actually maintain this unless something happens and go for a lap with Paul Nichols. And Nick, talk us through this iconic Victorian circuit.
Alright, sorry, just going to catch up with my wrong front camera here. So he's going through the hay shed here. Should be pretty easy flat move in these cars, 5th gear. Then you're coming up to Lukey Heights, just dab the brakes and then bang it down maybe 1 or 2 gears. Up over the top, you can't see any of this. Get yourself on the left-hand side, ready for the hairpin down here at MG. Brake at the brake marker, he's defending from somebody. 2nd or 3rd gear in these cars. Then you're to the last 2 turns. It looks like he's taking a bit tighter line, so there's somebody hassling him from behind. You can see the in-car camera as well there. So the last turn should be almost flat in these cars. 5th gear, don't take too much curb on the inside, drift it out to the outside, hit the top gear. And these things should hit, what, 250 I think down the front stretch. I'll just have a look at my telemetry here. 230, 240, he's got someone coming onto his tail here. Ooh, a little bit sideways into turn 1. Through doing corner, back over to the right hand side, bring it in nice and tight for the first of the 2 apexes here at the southern loop. He's missed the first one, and bring it in tight for the second one to get a good run down here through Stoner Corner, which leads you into the best passing zone on the circuit into Honda hairpin. So he's pulled away from the guy behind him, flat out, top gear, brake as late as you dare, keep it over to the left. Oh, the back end getting a little bit taily here, take a bit of curb on the inside, curb on the outside, and then drive it nice and straight all out to Siberia.
Very nicely done, Nick.
You see Paul's always looking ahead here, his eyes always got a bit of a duck lips going happening over here, but he's looking as far down the road as he can, get as much information ahead of schedule. It's one thing I've found over the sim racing is a lot of people look only at the end of their plot. You've got to look as far down the road as possible.
A bit like driving in the real world, funnily enough.
Yeah.
So look as far ahead as possible and bear in mind what's happening around you. Down into the 10th corner on the circuit one more time, MG corner.
It's got Parry behind.
Yes, Parry's been actually really good so far tonight. He's been putting pressure on Nico right from the start. He's followed him through. Nico from 12th to 7th, and Aristarchus from 14th to 8th. So they have literally been nose to tail since the start of the race. And then Williamson 16th to 9th. So these guys started nose to tail on the grid. And they're still running nicely. Look at the freight train at the front of the field. Michael Hammond, Jackson Rayhana, Simon Ferris, Matt Stratford, Brett Selbywood, Brenton Hobson. 1.6 seconds separates the 6 at the moment. We knew it was going to be good, but it's delivering better than we had anticipated early on. And Michael Hammond, it's not often that he has this sort of pressure being applied to him. Jackson Rayhana's moved through, got by Simon Ferris and Matt Stratford. So that's an interesting point to note. And Stratford's still having a little bit of a hassle, a little bit of trouble trying to get by Simon Ferris. So Stratford, of course, the championship leader, should remain that way if things stay as they are, because there's not 17 points between him and Hammer right here. And it's interesting to note that Simon Ferris got the 5 bonus points or whatever it is that goes with pole position, as well. Right, yeah. I knew it was 5 for no penalties, but I wasn't,
So we got the first lot led by a Subaru liveried car, and then Paul Nichols leading the second lot in these Subaru liveried cars. You can see they just went through the front of shop there.
I'd be happy with that.
So Parry in his element here in the bum dragger. Front wheel drive territory for him. He's going to give the stock cars a go from what I heard, so that'll be good.
Excellent.
I raced with him in stock cars on Saturday nights too, so should be right up his alley. Plus it's a track he knows.
Absolutely. Well,
There he is,
exactly, and he's getting his eye in at the moment. We're right on board with that Aristarchus, actually. I do want to go back to this front field battle in just a moment, but let's stick with Aristarchus as we go down the main straight. The 144 chasing the 001. Across the line, and another lap in the books here at the island. Start lap 7, 10 minutes and 17 seconds of race time down. So we're almost, I stress almost, quarter race distance here.
We might have to ask the director to go to the front.
Let's do that. Let's go to the front of the field.
There's nothing between them.
10 3/4 minutes is, of course, the half race distance here. Look at this. Ray Hanna on the outside, Hammond on the inside. And look at Brenton Hobson shoving his nose up the inside of Ray Hanna as well. He muscles him out and goes to second. Rayhana's then got, I think that's Simon Ferris all over the back of him. Then that's Stratford. And then you go back to Brett Selby-Wood rounding up the top 6 at the moment.
Selby-Wood's doing the right thing.
Stuff.
Sit back, let all the craziness happen, take your car. Rayhana actually had a look at Hammond into turn 1. We didn't get it on shot. I wasn't going to say anything, but here comes Hobson.
Down the outside to MG to put himself on the inside for turn 11. That's strategic play from Hobson. It might just work for him as well, and he'll take Rayhana with him potentially. Through turn 11, have a look at this. 3 of the best in the business. Shopping and changing on a Friday night. Right onto the main straight they go. So it's Hobson now leading. 4th different leader of the race thus far. Brenton Hobson now assumes the lead here from Michael Hammond. And you have to ask yourself, given that he's driven from 24th to 1st and we're only on lap 8, well, A, he's a candidate for driver of the night. Don't get us wrong there. But can he drive away with it now that he's reached the front of the field? What can Michael Hammond do in response? What can Rayhana do? Because he had his nose in front of Hammond there at some point as well. Side by side, Rayhana has a look. Let's follow this. Down to the 4th corner, Honda corner, and he's got the job done. Can Hammond strike back under brakes? No, he can't. Rayhana goes back to 2nd. Hammond in the 3rd spot. Ferris in behind him. Then, of course, Stratford and Selby-Wood. The top 6 at the moment. They are only 4.3 seconds clear of Parry Anastakis and, of course, Paul Nichols and Lee Williamson. Now, I stress this because they get chopping and changing or they acquire any damage in doing so. The boys that are just calmly going about their business, Nico, Anastakis and Williamson, are going to be in the box seat here. This is an awesome start to our TCR outing at the Island tonight. More of this, please. In fact,
yes,
let's just scrap all the other production cars and let's just go TCR racing on a Friday night if this is what they're going to serve up. This is terrific stuff. Round onto the main straight. Hobson and Rayhana have broken clear. Hammond's still under pressure. Ferris sitting in there waiting patiently for his moment, and then of course Matt Stratford, Brett Selby-Wood's a couple of car lengths away. Starting to sound like Greg Miles at the moment. There's that much going on as they cross the line. Have a look at this down the inside. Do they want to go 3 wide down the main straight? No. They'll be a little bit more sensible about it than that. Into turn 1, into Doohan corner. To turn 2.
If they keep fighting, the front 2 are going to get away.
Well, that's the problem. They can't have, and this is the thing. Is Michael Hammond holding the pack up? You have to ask yourself the question.
He could be saving tyres and maybe Jackson's getting after Hobson. Who knows?
Wait and see. Have a look at this. Ferris on the outside of Hammond now. Can Hammond hold it under brakes? Yes, he can.
Jeez.
Stratford wanted to follow Ferris through, couldn't do that. Jeez, we've had some good racing this week, haven't we?
Great driving.
Monday night was exceptional, and this is just top shelf. I really look forward to seeing what more and possibly throw up when we go stock car racing at the end of the evening. That is going to be top shelf stuff as well. Here we go one more time. Great racing here on a Friday night. Dual Drift Esports. Our exclusive coverage of Gentleman Sim Racing Club entertainment for you. And it is top shelf entertainment tonight, as I say. Ferris still following Hammond through. They need to work together. Hammond needs to just bite the bullet, run the gauntlet and go for it. He can't he cannot allow these guys to get away. Unfortunately, they've built up a lead that's over 1.8 seconds now. So we've gone from a 6-car fight to a 2-car fight and a 4-car fight, and have it on at Stratford trying to get the slipstream from Simon Ferris, and Hammond still holding the inside line, trying to hug the inside line, moves across on Stratford. Very defensive driving from Hammond on the run to turn 1, and Ferris around the outside of Hammond. If you don't know, Ferris is going to 2nd. Look at that. Take Stratford with him. Stratford saw his opportunity and went for it up the inside of Hammond into the southern loop. And here comes Brett Selby-Wood as well. Brett Selby-Wood's on the inside going into Steiner corner, and he's cleared Hammond, so he'll go to 5th now. And Hammond has been relegated in the space of a quarter of a lap from 3rd to 6th.
there's the fight on for the lead. You just sorted out a shot. They're going side by side. Brenton
So
Hobson.
Rayhana giving it to Stratford, yeah. What a great fight this is on a Friday night. If you're not entertained by this, folks, you're very hard to please. Straight across curb cam here at the Hay Shed. On the run to Lukey Heights. So Brenton Hobson doesn't have it all his own way. We suspected he might, but as soon as Rayhana cleared Hammond, he went after Hobson. And now they sit there 1 and 2. They are 3 seconds clear of the chasing pack. And I cannot believe I'm commentating a race where Michael Hammond has dropped in the space of 3 laps from first to sixth. There's Hobson into the lane. He bites the board early. He comes in. And it's about right. We were working out early with Paul Nichols that 17 laps is about the window. So fueling up now should get you home. Rayhana crosses the line, assumes the lead. Ferris and then Stratford. Then you go back to Selby, Wood and Hammond. In all of that, Nico's going to move himself up at the 6th spot. Parry Anastakis to 7th and Lee Williamson to 8th. Geez, that was a mighty fine stop that you saw there from Brenton Hobson. Didn't muck around, straight back out onto the racetrack. Unimpeded.
Brenton does what I like to call the first to stop last. Or the last to stop first.
Yes.
Or the first to stop last, whichever way it is. You do your last stop and you be the first one to do it and you get track position. That's all it is, track position.
Exactly right. And that could be the key at the end, especially in a race as tight as this. Now, the other point as well, how would you prefer to be if this was you, Nick, running this race? And I know it's not, because obviously it's a stressful night with the stock cars as bad enough as it is. But if it was you, would you prefer to run Hobbo's strategy, or would you prefer to run somewhere in the middle, given how bad this circuit is on tyres and how critical that could be in 17 laps time?
I'd be doing a hammer time and just hanging back. The Selby Wood a hammer time. Hang back, let the guys at the front fight, use up their equipment, and then maybe pit 2 laps from now, 1 lap from now, jump those guys, do a bit of an undercut.
I tell you what, Nico's under serious pressure from Parry Anastakis. He had a look on the inside into MG, couldn't get the job done. So Nico and Anastakis going at it at the moment. That's inviting Lee Williamson into the fight, and Nico's in the lane. So Paul Nichols in, Anastakis and Williamson continue on. Across the line come the front of the pack. Ferris holding off Stratford and Selby Wood. Michael Hammond's back there in position number 5. That's, of course, where he started at the moment. Very rare to see him that far down the order. He's 2.6 seconds away from Selby Wood and 5.5 away from Jackson Rayhana. 18 minutes 41 seconds in the book last time by the line for Jackson Rayhana, doing an awesome job at the front of the field by 1.9 seconds. Although in saying that, in all of that, that's the interesting point that's come up here. Rayhana's lost ground over the last couple of laps to Simon Ferris. Now that he hasn't got a target to chase after, he hasn't got Brenton Hobson there, or he hasn't got Michael Hammond, he's slowed up. Yeah,
I'm just looking at sorry, just to quickly back up to Brenton. He's just fed out in the middle of traffic too, so I don't know how he's going to go from here. But maybe Rayhana's saving his equipment. Yeah, he's lost 3/10 on the last lap and then another second from the previous fastest lap. So he is slowing up, but there could be some method to the madness. I'm not sure.
As long as there is a method, because otherwise it is just madness, as you say. if there's a method that justifies it, I'm all for it. So, Stratford doing a nice job, holding off Selby Wood, trying to attack the back of Simon Ferris at the moment. Rayhana leads, they're catching him. They are catching and closing, and Rayhana's in.
He's in.
You saw him dive off to the left-hand side there.
So Nico had a long stop. He may have had to fix some damage, but he just left the pits.
Okay, that's, yeah.
He's in the southern lead now.
Interesting. That's going to lose him some time, I think, unfortunately.
So we got...
We'll check in with him post-race and see exactly what's going on there.
Matt Stratford, Simon Ferris and Brett Selby Wood taking it to the front now.
It's been a cracker of a start to this race. Hopefully the boys can keep up the intensity the longer we go. Next time by the line will be pretty much half race distance. We won't be far off it. 22 and a half minutes is half race distance. Yes, Nick.
I was just going to say, keep up the intensity. I needed to drop down. I need to be calm when I jump in the car myself. This is just never ending. There's always something to look at here.
That's exactly right.
Tony De Rossi from 10th up to 7th now. Chris Stark up from 22nd up to 6th. And Parry is only 5 seconds off the tail of Hamo, so just literally the exit.
Interesting to note.
Let's quickly on the incidents. We got Daniel Aish, Xander and Tonif on 16 each. Dylan on 11 and James MD Wood on 12. No one else is in double figures yet.
It's interesting to note that Xander Antonov was on the grid. I didn't even realise that. So he's running down there in 17th position, but yeah, a late arrival. He didn't practice. He just qualified, and yeah, he's having a rough time of it, it would seem. Stratford in the lane, Selby Wood in the lane as well. Ferris continues on. So he will be, apart from Michael Hammond, the last of the front runners to stop. Chris Stark having a nice run at the moment, 22nd up to 6th. Tony De Rossi, 10th up to 7th. Daniel Aish, 26th up to 8th. Brenton Hobson, well, he's already made it to the front once. We suspect he'll make it to the front again.
Adam Coughlin on screen here. Look at this, another six-way fight.
And there's something about... See, this is why TCR's proven itself to be popular all over the world, because it just throws up great racing. And it doesn't matter if it's the sim world or the real world. There's just something about TCR. It seems to be a great equaliser. Or as you boys call them, the bum draggers. More on that later. Round onto the main straight. So again, reminding you that we're expecting a journey of somewhere around a race distance. I hate the word journey. It's overused. Race distance of around 26, 27 laps tonight, and at the half race mark, we got to lap 13. So that was actually just 24 seconds prior to half race distance. So it'll be touch and go, especially now that you don't have that pit stop coming into the equation, whether we get 26 or 27. But my money would be on 27 at this stage.
Simon Ferris going through for another one.
And that would justify, just to finish the point, that would justify those who stop lap 10 because, at the end of lap 10, because they can go through to the end of the race. As you just heard Nick say, Michael Hammond in the lane. And that's interesting because he is, as we say, apart from Simon Ferris, the last of the front runners there, and Simon Ferris running the gauntlet and going a little bit harder and longer than everybody else. Maybe that will come back to serve him well in terms of tyre wear at the back end of this fight. Look at this ongoing scrap. This is fantastic stuff.
Isn't it great? Great entertainment.
This is the third 3-4 car battle that we've watched tonight. Fantastic racing. And it's interesting too. I'll be interested to see how long it takes iRacing to incorporate more TCR cars, other than just the Audi, to their iRacing platform, because fair dinkum, there's some popularity around this form of racing at the moment, Nick, the likes of which we haven't seen for a long, long time.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of the old Super Touring days where you can different colour. Oh wow, zigging and zagging down the front stretch.
That's insane. To turn one. Terrific racing.
So it looks like the field's spread out in certain places. Obviously not this fight that we're watching on screen, but Simon Ferris is leading from Parry and Aristakis, and Brenton Hobson's only 23 seconds back.
I was just about to say about Parry and Aristakis, what a run from him. Sitting second. Oh, I mean, yes, I know he's still got to stop, but that is just a fantastic run. Anthony Visma and Brett Selby Wood were side by side there a moment ago when Selby Wood's come through to displace Visma. Now this fight, Ben Collard following Xander Antonov. Behind him is Adam Coughlin, Lee Williamson and Rick Vincent. Tremendous scrap. This is for 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th. I believe these guys have still got to stop, so we're not talking about them in the outright context, but, gee, they're throwing up some entertainment before they just decide to dive in and top up fuel. And that won't be too far away. It's the end of lap 13 coming up, lap 14 to start. And in the Fed Income department, when you look at the numbers here, as we say, 17 laps was a full tank, roughly thereabouts. So these pit stops will be flowing thick and fast in the next couple of minutes or the next couple of laps. Who dives first, who jumps in, we'll wait and see. Across the line again. And Antonov opens the door, then closes it. Collard, Coughlin, looking all over the back at the moment. But Antonov driving a nice defensive line there, forcing Collard to try and go right around the outside, but he tucks back in. Oh, geez, that was tight. Take a breath, Nick. Oh. The heart's, your heart's kind of in your mouth at moments like that, isn't it?
Yeah. I know what it's like being, oh wow, 3 wide.
What about this? 3 wide on the run into Honda. That's just... Congratulations to them for keeping it so clean, though. Like, that's part of the show. It would be no good for any of these guys if the race ended in tears with the crash.
So just to let you know, Rayhana and Hammer Time, as an example, the two that have pitted, 15 seconds apart now.
Wow.
And Hobson's...
In favour of Rayhana, we should stress.
Yeah, and Hobson's 35 seconds up the road. So possibly, I don't know, could there be a 2-stopper happening? I don't know.
Well,
Parry's in the lead, by the way.
So Parry, the great man, Mr. Anastakis, leading the way. First position, but still to stop. We're watching the battle with Collard, Antonov, Coughlin, Williamson, and Stark at the moment.
Rick Vincent as well, coming up.
Oh, sorry, my apologies, Rick Vincent, yeah.
It's coming up the back.
Around on the main straight. So Collard, the big mover on that lap, up into 10th. Then Antonov, Williamson, then Coughlin. Really good scrap. And these guys are separated by, it's a 4-way fight, they're separated by 1.3, if that, seconds. Collard has the box seat, and the next target for him is Michael Hammond. Now that's an interesting point you've raised there, because with Brenton Hobson leading, and the fact that we're talking by half a minute, are 2 stoppers an option? Will we see them dive in again? It's rare for a 45-minute race, but again, it goes back to the point that we were making right from the get-go tonight about tyres in this circuit.
Yeah, exactly. Parry's starting his 18th lap. He's still got the lead. He's only got the lead by a couple of seconds from Brenton Hobson, but yeah, he's driving very well.
This would have to be the pit lap for Parry, because we were talking 17 laps. We weren't talking 18. We're now looking at the fact that Parry's getting an 18th out of the tank. He's going to have to stop eventually. When will he stop, though? When will he pull the trigger?
He's doing 42s. Hobson's doing 40s and low 41s. So he's losing about a second.
It's important to note that Brenton's only 3.2 seconds away now, Nick.
Yeah, he's losing about a second a lap. Maybe up to 2 seconds a lap. But, hey, if fuel economy running might jump in ahead of the people that he was racing before, such as your Paul Nichols and the like. So Nico is currently in the 16th position, so I'm going to guess he's going to jump him.
Yeah. Yep. And of course, Nico's stop was a little bit slower than anticipated as well. So let's have a look at this in running order. Anastakis, Hobson, Stratford, Riddell, Wood. The latter 4 have all stopped. Oh no, trouble on the other screen actually. Coughlin and I think it was Williamson getting together, and Antonov getting through the gap there. But we'll go back to that fight in a moment. Here's Jackson Rayhana on the screen. Rare air time for Rayhana tonight. He's not had much, but good. Oh, trouble behind Rick Vincent. I think it was the 94 having a moment through Honda corner. You watch the 89 of Xander Antonov. Now, just to point that out, So Parry in at the end of lap 18. So yeah, it was Williamson and Coughlin, or Coughlin and Stark, one of the two, that were into the side of each other there a couple of moments ago. I was just about to say about Jackson Rayhana, been rare time for him tonight. We haven't seen much of him since that battle extinguished a short while ago, that 6-car fight for the lead. Once it evaporated, we haven't seen much of Rayhana. Now we're getting a look at Xander Antonev now.
Parry's just leaving pit lane.
Okay, let's see where he filters in.
He's just in front of Hammer Time, so we'll see what happens here. Hammer Time's got him, turn one.
And I apologise too, I might have got this wrong, because these three guys behind, they might have already stopped and we didn't see them. So it'll be interesting to see where they filter into things here. And Antonev moves up into 10th, Stark 11th, Coughlin, Vincent, then Williamson and Riddell. Riddell in the lane now, too important to note. That's 10th through 15th. Nico is 16th, now 15th. He's displaced Riddell, so too is Grant Gill. Jared Daly, Kurt Woodward retirements. We should stress that as well.
I've got a theory that the longer pit stop, some guys took on maybe the I'm not entirely sure, but the all four tires go into the all four wheels go in the air, so maybe they did front tires and not rears for the shorter stops, or maybe they just miscalculated the fuel.
Well, that's another point too.
We'll have to find out post race.
All will be revealed in the next 14 minutes, I dare say. We'll get an indication. Now, if you're an NRL fan, and let's face it, if you're not an NRL fan, you're an AFL fan and vice versa, but some of you are both. But the NRL at the moment, the Panthers leading the Sharks, but probably about to towel them up with 17 minutes to go on the match, 34-6. So I dare say that's a foregone conclusion, that result. Not good news for Sharks fans, but very good news for Penrith fans at this point. Have a look at this. How good are the ocular aerial shots? This is the fight now between Simon Ferris and Brett Selby-Wood. That's third and fourth. Anthony Visma in behind them, then Jackson Rayhana. Now that's interesting in itself, because Visma has leapfrogged everybody in this pit stop sequence to be in the top 5. Hobson leads by 5 seconds to Stratford. Stratford back to Ferris, back to Selby-Wood, Visma, Rayhana, Hammond time. And then, of course, Anastakis, Collard and Antonev making up the top 10. And we're still a long way from home. 32 minutes, 35 seconds gone.
Just off camera, Chris.
On the line for Quentin Hobson. Yes, mate.
Chris Stark had a go at Xander into the southern loop and has just driven off the track and has lost a couple spots.
Oh, no.
But Xander now has a line forming behind him anyway.
So Xander's a sitting duck at the moment, waiting for the apocalypse and the barrage of passing to commence.
Led by Rick Vincent.
Yes. So you know the battle will be on very soon, because Vincent doesn't muck around. He gets in often and gets the overtake done if it's there to be done. And he's 3-4 car lengths clear of the next car behind him, so Antonev has 4 cars bearing down on him. And how good does the Rick Vincent car look on a Friday night, ladies and gentlemen? It always looks good, the black and yellow, but particularly good on a TCR Audi. So stock cars come out very shortly. What are your initial thoughts as far as that race is concerned, Nick?
Tyres. Tyres. It's going to be the talking point for tonight. Long corners, big heavy cars, not going to work. So we'll try our best. I believe the race will be divided into 3 short sprints. Hopefully safety cars are in the middle of all that, so it mucks it up for everybody, myself included, but just to spice it up. But it's just going to be about tyre and tyre conservation. The drop-off is pretty big around here. Within 6 laps, you've dropped 4 seconds off your times, or 3 seconds off your time. So, keeping the tyre underneath the car is going to be the biggest thing.
Indeed. As we say, 3 short sprints, so we're expecting, as we normally do on a Friday night, a 2-stopper for the stock cars. Paul Nichols will join me in commentary for that. Here's Antonev under pressure from Rick Vincent, though. Vincent on the outside, Antonev on the inside. Vincent tucks back in. But Antonov will be very much aware of his presence right now as they head up towards Siberia. Have a look at this. He's going to try and do the up and under here, and it won't work because the hay shed's a one-line groove. I've not seen anyone go through there side by side successfully. The hay shed, so they make their way through there now. Yeah, interesting to note as well when we talk about the stock cars, a little bit longer race. I think it's 35 laps, so a lot to look forward to there. Tyres will be the big talking point, but also obviously that ongoing battle between Glenn Postlethwaite and Carl Watmore. I'm looking forward to the resumption of that contest very, very shortly. And as we say, the competition caution has been a talking point the last couple of weeks because of where it's fallen. I dare say we'll be in for some fireworks again tonight.
I hope so.
Stick around because that 1 hour race or thereabouts, we often talk about it being anywhere between 55 and 65 minutes in length. It depends on lap times and other factors, how long the caution goes for. That's coming up straight after this. Look at Antonov holding off Rick Vincent through turn 1 through Doohan Corner. Vincent now forced to have a look around the outside going into the southern loop. That's not going to work. But he's going to put the pressure on Antonov when they get down to Honda.
He's got a tighter run, so he's got a longer run. Here we go. He's going up the inside now.
Oh, he made it stick. He made it work, did he? No. Antonov's still holding on and forcing the issue. Vincent's cleared him, though. And if he's smart, he'll get across and block the inside.
Oh.
No, he doesn't. Antonov goes under brakes and holds the spot. Does he? No, because Vincent sweeps around the outside. Antonov backs side by side again on the right to side beyond. Now have a look at this. Vincent, the inside, Antonov the outside, and Antonov clears him. Nicely done.
That's some great driving.
What a move, what a moment, what a contest, what a fight. Great clean stuff between this pair. Well done to Xander Antonov holding off sheer ultra attack and aggression from Rick Vincent as they hit Lukey Heights. Up the drop, down into MG. Will he have a crack here? No, he won't. And into the fight comes Lee Williamson as well.
It's like a game of chess. You move that, I'll move this. You do that, I'll do
Exactly.
this. For every move, there's a counter move, and now it looks like Rick Vincent's having a look.
Antonov's in. Xander Antonov is in the line. Now he's jumped. He's jumped in. Let's wait and see what all this is about. Is Nick on the money that there is a second stop for everybody? Or has Xander eclipsed the penalty count? And that could be another crucial factor tonight.
Have a quick look. He's on 17.
Right, there you go. So that'll be it.
Penalty.
So it's a penalty for Xander, and that's unfortunate for him.
He's on
Brings
his way
the
out
race
now.
undone.
I think those two might have touched and might have just tipped him over.
Unfortunate, yeah. Oh, look, the way they were driving side by side, almost inevitable, really. Lee Williamson now applying the pressure to Rick Vincent down the inside. Nicely done. Williamson up into position number 8. Took Starkey with him, and Starkey goes into 9th. Vincent in one corner loses 2 spots. After gaining 1, loses 2. But the fight, the contest isn't over yet. Meanwhile, front of the field still maintaining that 5-second advantage is Brenton Hobson. Stratford is 3 seconds clear then of Simon Ferris, who is 1.3 seconds clear of Brett Selby Wood. Jackson Rayhana's 1.2 behind him. Michael Hammond's 18 seconds down the road. What is left in this car race? Is there a sting in the tail? Or is Brenton Hobson cruising to another win? We're about to find out in the next 5.5. I must say I'm a big fan of TCR racing, and when on its night when there's a big field, there's not a big enough field to do it justice on a Wednesday night, Nick. But on a Friday night when we throw it up in the production car server, it always delivers great race.
Yeah, it's fantastic race. Look at this. I'm going to try 3 wide. 2 wide.
Why not? Why not? Vincent down the inside. He made it stick because, and I stress because, Lee Williamson left the door open. Now he's up on the outside going into turn 2. So Vincent couldn't get the job done enough to get across and block the line for turn 2. That forced him to the outside. And then obviously he couldn't make it stick from there.
Okay, Okay, just a quick lap time report. Rayhana's got the fastest car in the top 6 cars here, and he's closing in on Brett Selby-Wood. As we look at another move at Honda Hairpin. Just doesn't stop, does it?
That was Chris Stark going through nicely. Vincent on the outside. No, not yet. Williamson still to him. He's absolute best to hold on there, but Chris Stark has got the position. So that puts him into 8th from 22nd on the grid. He'll be the second biggest mover in the field within the top 10. The biggest mover, however, will be Brenton Hobson from 24th to 1st. He does it so well. He makes it look easy, the burn from the stern, which is Nick's favourite strategy, but Nick doesn't make it look as easy as Brenton Hobson for some reason. So here we go. So much to look forward to here. Round they come onto the main straight. So Rayhana through. That was brewing. That had been brewing for a while. That'll put Rayhana into position number 4 now.
His last,
yes, mate.
So his last 3 laps are 1 minute 40.3, all 3 laps. So he's in a rhythm right now. He's got the fastest car on track.
And if I was Simon Ferris, I'd be worried because yes, time is running out. They've only got 4 minutes, so that's going to be 3 laps. 4 minutes left, 3 laps, and that's just enough time, I think, for Rayhana to hit the go gas button and try and track down Simon Ferris here and maybe salvage and snare a 3rd place on the last lap. Through into MG corner. Look at him. He's already closing in. Rayhana's doing a great job there, finally getting by Brett Selby-Wood, putting himself into 4th. He ride with Selby-Wood now. Round onto the main straight. 2 laps to go. Brenton Hobson has got back to the line 42 minutes 43 seconds, so he started lap 26, so it is going to be 27. We're on the money tonight, folks. 27 laps is the magic number. And it's only going to be by half a minute. We should stress that as well. So it's going to stretch out to about a 46-minute race here. But what a performance. Stratford 2nd, Ferris is 3rd, Rayhana 4th, Selby-Wood 5th. Keep watching to see if Rayhana can close in. He's going to do his best, but I think he might just fall short with only a lap and a half to go. Cracking performance from Brenton Hobson, but Stratford's done enough to extend his championship lead at the top of the order here, Nick, because of the fact that he's got 3 cars between himself and Michael Hammond. It's rare that we say that.
Yeah, maybe Hammond's had a car problem. It could even have possibly a hardware problem or a software problem. So just don't know. I actually thought he was saving tyres, but man, this racing far out. It's been one of the best ones so far. We keep saying we've said it the last 3 weeks.
And I was going to say we've said it twice this week as well.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about the GT race being the best of the year, and it really was. If we're fair, it's going to take a lot to knock that off. But this TCR race has been an absolute cracker. Now Michael Hammond's under pressure here. Now I'm just trying to why he'd be under pressure unless he's made a mistake. It doesn't add up because he was 17 seconds in front of Ben Collard last time they were the line. So here we go, last lap at the island.
Rub your hands together. This is going to be good.
What can Rayhana do? Have a look at him closing in on Simon Ferris. He will stop at nothing to try and get this job done, Jackson Rayhana. They make their way around the southern loop on the run up towards Stoner corner, Honda corner. Have a look at Ferris throwing everything out of the dirt on the exit of the southern loop. That's going to give Rayhana a run here. He's going to be on the inside going into Honda. Rayhana's going to 3rd. Very nicely done. And it all stems back to that small mistake from Simon Ferris on the exit of the southern loop where he clipped the dirt. Rayhana up onto the podium with 6 corners to go as they make their way through Siberia. Look at this. Great racing from the youngster to displace Simon Ferris in these closing laps. Let's wait and see. Need to get back to the leader. Need to get to Brenton Hobson to watch him cross the line here and take the checkered flag. There he comes out of MG for the last time. Another burn from the stern performance that just pays dividends for Brenton Hobson tonight. He's done it superbly. It doesn't matter what car you put this guy in, he's always there at the end. And this time it's going to be P1. Brenton Hobson gets the job done in round 7 of the production car series at Phillip Island. Trouble behind him with that Stratford, but he gathered it back up and gets across the line in position number 2. Oh boy, actually it wasn't Stratford, it was one of the lap cars. My apologies. It was Xander Antonov going bush bashing down the run to the line. Stratford goes second, Rayhana third, Simon Ferris fourth, and Brett Selbywood in fifth. A long way back then. As you watch him come around onto the main straight to Michael Hammond, he'll come home in 6th position here. But hats off to that man on your screen, Brenton Hobson, who's done it again.
Well, Rayhana got the you're saying he didn't get much airtime. He got a lot of airtime at the end there. But congratulations to Brenton Hobson.
Yeah, we made up.
Brenton Hobson, what a superb drive. Be the first to pit last, and then just got his head down and got going. But tell you what, Rayhana, I think he's got the fastest lap of the race. I have to double check that. But yeah, he didn't hold back and he just kept going.
On 0 incidents at the end of that too.
Yeah, I don't have the sheet in front of me.
There won't be too many.
We'll have to get it off Nico when he jumps in. But yes,
for sure. Nico, incidentally, has come home a minute behind the pack. Started 12th, finished 11th, just outside the 10. He was 9 seconds behind Rick Vincent in the end. So, Hobson, Stratford, Rayhana, Ferris, Selby, Wood, Hammer. They were the top 6. Collard, Stark, Williamson, and Vincent made up the top 10. Behind them, and we've got Brenton Hobson in the chat room ready to have a chat to us in just a moment. It was Nico, Coughlin, De Rossi, Visma and Gill going from 11th through to 15th, and then everyone else a lap or more down. Antonio Brown, Latta, Hunter, and then James Wood making up the top 20. Dylan Gray was a long way back, 5 laps down, and then of course the retirements. In fact, I'm blown if I know what happened to Parry Anastakis there, if I'm perfectly honest with you, because he was running beautifully and then ended up finishing non-classified, 8 laps down. What happened there? Glenn Riddell, Daniel Aish, Josh Millard, and Jared Daly made up the field. 26 starters in the end. We've got 2 of our top 3 in the chat room here right now. Let's go to Brenton Hobson. It's something about burning from the stern for you in the production car race in particular that works wonders, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. I love it. It's great fun.
And it looked like particular fun there in the opening laps because lap 2 was the lap where we noticed your strategy paying dividends because about 4 cars just, paved the way for you at Honda here at turn 4. They just went onto the grass, and that made your work very easy.
Yeah, it's useful when half the field just wanders off the track in front of me and lets me through. That really helps. The start was the best, though. Off the line, I jumped about 3 or 4 cars, 3 or 4 wide, and then went from the concrete wall on the pit lane to the white line on the right-hand side, straight through traffic, and passed about 4 more into turn 1. It was unbelievable. I loved it. So it's a good fun race. These cars are interesting. So, yeah.
They are very interesting. They're fantastic little cars. There's no doubt about that. What we should also stress as well, on that opening lap, the standing start works wonders in this situation as well, because if you can get a good launch, you're going to put yourself in a very good position for the rest of the race, aren't you?
Absolutely. I mean, it'd probably help if you qualify. I don't qualify in this because it starts too early for me. I barely get on in time to make the race. So
yep.
It's just a bit of fun to start from the back. But I mean, that's worth more than a good start, starting, 12 or 13 rows further forward. But the good launch is important and, sets the tone for the whole race, really. These cars are difficult. They don't have a clutch. So you either sit with no RPM in neutral or in first gear on the grid, or you give it a bunch of revs in neutral and drop it into first and take off. But the cold tyre, there's no grip. So we just managed to hook it up better than most of those around us.
So just to paint the picture for us, obviously you barely make the start. Whereabouts in the country are you based, Brenton?
In Warrnambool, Victoria, on the south coast, part of COVID.
So you're in an essential worker position down there because everyone else isn't, obviously.
Well, no, I work from home, so my work hasn't been affected. I work from home office, but I've got family and stuff, so kids and that to get to bed and all that sort of stuff. So 7 o'clock is about as early as I can jump on, so it's a stretch every week. But I like to try and do it if I can, and just it's a good warm up for the stock cars. And bit of fun.
Reason I mentioned that is a memo to our staff here at the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, because we're talking about start times for the next series, of course, and obviously we go from 3 time zones to 5 halfway through that season, which is going to no doubt bugger someone up. But obviously not you down there in Victoria, mate, because you're actually with the times, unfortunately just in lockdown. Mate, so obviously doubling up tonight, stock cars on your agenda now?
Yeah, I've just jumped into the session there. We're about to roll out on track and see if we can figure out how to steer these around. They're basically a TCR car, so it shouldn't be hard.
All right, then. Well, in that case, we'll let you go and focus on that, mate, and we'll check in with you after the stock cars. Well done.
Thanks. See you later.
All right, let's check in now with a couple of the other boys that are here right now. Let's go to, I know Jackson Rayhana's tied up with stock cars as well, so we'll go to him first and then come back to Matt Stratford and also Brett Selby-Wood. Matty, sorry, Jackson, I'll go to you first. Jackson, third place, you just got there in the last lap, but it all comes back to a small error from Simon Ferris, and that was the invitation you needed.
Yeah, mate, good evening. Yeah, look, Mikey Hammond and I both had a strategy. We were both going to take fronts in the pit stop because track temperature was very hot, without using any swear words. It was very, very, very hot. So we're kind of hoping the tyre fall off would be a little bit more dramatic than it was. I mean, it was pretty dramatic. Like, we were definitely flying home at the end there. But, yeah, look, just a bit of strategy error on my behalf. But, yeah, no, all credit to Hobbo. He got it right. The dude's just an absolute, he's an Einstein when it comes to this stuff.
Yep.
Like, he's very, very good, and definitely see he's all class tonight. And, yeah, can't wait to go again in stock cars.
Don't worry, mate. You're not the only one trying not to swear tonight. I'm in the same boat, and a few others as well. But no, well done with that. Again, I'll check in with you more, and we'll chat more after the stock cars. Go and focus on that, and good luck.
All good, mate. Thank you. Have a good call.
Beautiful. Let's go to Matty Stratford. Matt, second in the end, 5 seconds away from Brenton, but by our numbers, you extend your championship lead, so all's going well.
Mate, what a race, eh? What a cracker.
Particularly the opening half.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I've never driven this car, and there was a few choice words.
Yes.
And it's a lovely car. It's a lovely car in the end.
Well, it's worked out very well for you, hasn't it? Second and obviously clear of the second half of the race looked particularly lonely for you.
Yeah, under field too. So that was a bit unfortunate.
Yep. So in other words, you're lucky that you got home when you did.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, loved it.
If there was one more lap, you would have been, yeah.
Yeah, one more would have been done.
So in the end, the stroke of the gods on your side tonight. That opening half of the race, though, mate, it looked as though, I don't know what was going on with Michael Hammond tonight, but it looked as though getting past him was the key to the ongoing success. I mean, you look at Brenton, he got by. You look at Jackson, he got by, clear air. And then you were one of the cars that stayed behind him for a long time, and then everyone pounced on one lap, and you were the catalyst for that.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what was going with Hammer. He lethal on the first few laps, and then he just backed off. I don't think he could save about, 8 litres? Just don't know if he's saving fuel or what he was doing.
No, I'm not sure at all. It was an interesting strategy, and it didn't work in the end because, as we say, he only managed to come home down in position number 6, one lower than where he started. Yeah. Final 3 rounds. It's interesting. I'm not exactly sure of where the schedule takes us. Obviously, Bathurst is the last round. There's a member vote in there somewhere as well. But what are your thoughts going ahead, mate? Because you've got that championship lead. It's not going to be easy to maintain it. What's the key to successfully getting the job done in the next 3 weeks?
Nah, just a couple more podiums, a few more beers, mate. We'll get a couple more podiums. We'll be right.
So, are you implying that there was a happy hour before the race?
Got home right on session open time, and a few beers, a few more.
It's a strategy that's clearly working for you. We don't encourage it at home, ladies and gentlemen, but if it's working for you, then good work. Keep it up.
We don't encourage drink driving, but on iRacing,
you can be as as a nip. Yeah, we get it. Absolutely. Hey, Matty, well done, mate. Congratulations. Nice performance. Into second, maintains the championship lead, and 3 weeks to go.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. I do have to say a big shout out to Brett Selby-Wood. His setup was amazing. Thank you.
We'll go to Brett Selby-Wood now, actually, because a top 5 for you tonight, Brett. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, amazing race. Probably one of the few races I've done up there with the real fast guys, and how was that opening, whatever laps we did all together as a chain? It was pretty cool.
Well, this is right, exactly, because you guys were you were sixth in the bunch. There were 5 guys ahead of you. It looked fairly intense, but you were sitting back being Mr. Patient.
Yeah, and coaxed all the way by Maddie. Just hang in there, keep it the draft, and that's all we needed to do. So one of the few races where I felt more in me and in the car than what the pace was doing. So a new car, I guess, level playing field. I like this sort of stuff. So yeah, really good race for me anyway. And that beautiful stretch setup that I made. Thank you, Matt. It was a great share.
Yes, exactly right. GT4 next week is what I'm reading here on the run sheet. So we go from TCR to a GT4 car and Bathurst. So one of 2. For some reason, we've got 2 trips to Bathurst in this series. I mean, some people will say that too much Bathurst is never enough, but twice in 3 weeks seems a little bit. But anyway, for this next round though, going to the GT4, how do you feel about swapping from TCR to GT4?
Done bit, probably because of the Gentlemen's League in general in the 718, and I don't mind that car. We've done quite a few laps lately, so should be fun. Looking forward to it.
Very quickly before I let you go, how are you enjoying the up-and-comers? Because we've seen you featuring their up-and-comers on a Wednesday night as well.
Love it. Probably the best league of what we're doing.
Beautiful.
I love the little cars, so we should do more of them. And I don't know, maybe I'm strategically trying to keep myself in the series because I'm having so much fun. So yeah. Hey, whatever works. I'm not going to question it. Well done, mate. Nicely driven tonight, as we say, a top 5 finish and ahead of Michael Hammond, and that's never an easy thing to achieve. So well done on that, and enjoy the weekend, and we'll catch up with you next week. Cheers. Thank you.
Beautiful. Let's throw the conversation around now. Zender Antonov's in the chat room, but I can't come to him until he turns his mic off mute. He has done that now. Stay there, mate. I'll come back to you in a second. Lee Williamson, to you first. In the end, a fairly interesting fight with Chris Stark and Rick Vincent in the closing stages there. In the end, Starkey got the better of you, but you got the better of Rick.
Yeah. Look, we were having some good races. First time I've raced TCR, so sort of come on board tonight, just making up the numbers, and actually, had a reasonable finish. So, racing with some pretty strong competitors who, had some great clean racing. So, had a really enjoyable night.
Lee, hang there for me for 30 seconds. Just want to welcome anyone in that's joining us now on Do Adrift Esports via Facebook, Twitch, or even YouTube Live as well. We're at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. It is round 7 of the stock cars coming up in just a moment. You are watching the closing stages of the 90-minute practice session. And then on the back end of that, Paul Nichols will join me in commentary. We'll go qualifying in just a moment. Actually, sorry, I reiterate, it's a 100-minute practice session here. Qualifying coming up in a moment, and then we launch into the 35-lap race. Just over an hour's worth of content coming there for you very shortly. But we're wrapping up the production car race first, the entree of the double header, and we're talking with Lee Williamson. Lee, your thoughts quickly on the remaining 3 rounds of the series: Bathurst, a member vote, and then Bathurst again.
Yeah, look, it sounds all right to me. As I said, tonight's my first run in the production cars, so enjoying myself. I'll certainly give it a crack, and hope to get a couple more top 10 results.
And as far as the rest of your iRacing schedule is concerned, obviously you mentioned this is your first time in Proddies. You've got to be happy with obviously a top 9 finish in this one. But what else are you doing in terms of iRacing every other day of the week?
Oh, look, I'm primarily sort of concentrating on the up-and-comers and, being reasonably new. So, really enjoy the up-and-comers and been doing GT3 on a Monday night. So, not trying to take on too many cars and tracks at the moment, just trying to, pick out particular races and, just trying to learn as much as I can.
Very good stuff, mate. Thank you for that. Look forward to seeing you Wednesday night in the up-and-comers when we head to the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Good stuff.
No worries. Thanks.
Xander, what happened?
What do you mean, what happened?
Well,
What part?
What part? Well, you started 19th on the grid, you finished 16th, and you were a lap down. So where did it all go wrong?
Well,
you got a penalty for starters. So what did you deserve that?
Let me stop. So pretty much I got home, had dinner, and I jumped on. And
No, can we just focus on the racing part of this,
That's why I qualified so far down.
Okay.
And then we got to the race. At the start, I don't know what happened. I think I got a touch into turn 1. I got sideways, went bush, just on the yard like usual. And got back on. Then Aishi touched me, and then I went into the wall, and then I pitted, hoping that I would get a undercut, which I did, and I got back up to 10th.
Yeah.
And then I was there going along, and I was just keeping my line. I was keeping my position, just hard racing, really, as you probably saw. I just wanted to show off for you guys. And then the slightest tap happened, and because of all those off tracks and that before, all that slightest tap that happened going into turn 2, he ran wide, went off track, and then I got a penalty for it. That's why I got a drive through. But at the same time, I had the short fill because I didn't put enough fuel in the car. So I had to pit, refuel, and then go a lap around, come back in, do the drive through, and that's where I finished in 16th.
I'm going to come back to you in a second, Xander. You might have just seen on your screen there, folks watching at home, Tim Weir having an off-track excursion and a very rough day at the office. That's only the start of it. He was on his lid in practice at a circuit where it's very hard to end up on your lid.
A new nominee for the lid award.
Yeah, exactly right. Paul Nichols, good evening to you. I'll come to you in a moment. Xander, can we just go back to the very, very start of your discourse there, and you were saying about having dinner. What was dinner?
Chicken Kievs and this type of fried rice, but it didn't have soy sauce in it. It was really nice. Garlic chicken Kievs and...
Oh, you're making me hungry. Stop it.
Oh, that was so good.
No. Well, this is the thing, Nico. What I was getting at is he's gone and had dinner and used that as an excuse for why he qualified so poorly.
No.
Have you got a microwave in your house, Xander?
No. See, what I was about to say is I didn't attend to do this race tonight. I jumped on it with Simon and Aishi in Discord. And they're like, quick, hurry up, the race is about to start. So I only had like a 1-lap wonder to do. Well, 2-lap wonder, but I only got 1 lap in and stuffed up my flyer. So that's why I started so down. And yeah, I didn't have that much practice in the current track.
Okay, all right. I'm glad we sorted all the problems of the world out with Xander and Tanev tonight. Hey, mate, it actually, to be fair, to be perfectly serious for a moment, because I know we're not all the time, but really good to have you back on board after a couple of weeks' absence. There's a couple of Bathurst races coming up, so are we going to see you back on the grid next week or the week after?
Maybe, see what I'm doing, really. Because, yeah.
Are you going back real world racing next week?
So, about that. So I'm driving Dad's car, the Westie. You know how quick that is.
Yeah.
We built the engine, and 2 weeks ago we put it on the dyno, and the guy dynoing it, and the guy that was dynoing it shut it off, and Grandpa was like, "What's wrong?" And he said something's wrong. We got back and we had a look, and pretty much the two valve in one of I think number 4, where piston 4 is, both valves like shattered inside of the engine, and we pretty much destroyed the engine. So we're having to rebuild another engine now.
Oh dear! If only COVID was stretching on a little bit longer for you, so you didn't miss any racing. But anyway,
oh well, that's racing. What can you do?
Exactly right. Great to catch up, mate. Always fun, always entertaining. You never know what's going to happen when Xander and Tanev's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. It's a barrel of fun. Go well over the weekend, and we'll catch up soon.
You too. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
See you, mate. Dear oh dear, it all goes to hell when Sandra's in there.
It's very entertaining, though, isn't it? It's great.
Absolutely. Can you believe that, though? A, he said he didn't have a microwave, and B, he sacrificed iRacing for dinner in the first place. But yes.
Yeah,
And
good use, absolutely.
and on behalf of the producer and director of the broadcast, I'm going to apologise for the language that let slip there by the producer and director.
That's quite a PG time, isn't it?
Well, we're 8 o'clock, so we're still G-rated in the West, but that's okay. Good on you, Rob. Thank you. At least it wasn't about Dr. Pepper this time round. Paul,
Have you listened to Triple J recently? Like at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, they have language warnings.
yeah, exactly. My old housemate used to be a Triple J person, but as I've said in the past, and I'm doing a retrospective of some good music over the last 30 years of my life in the lead up to the big number on the 15th of September. Not that I want that publicly, but anyway, the fact of the matter is that it all goes downhill after about 2007, and modern music makes me physically sick. So I don't normally go near. I don't normally go near unless I'm on West Bretmore on a Saturday morning. I don't go near modern music.
I'm 51 this year or next year, and I still listen to Triple J. So come on.
Well, yeah, this is fair. Is that?
I'm still modern. That's all right.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, is that helping you either A, stay modern, or B, recapture your youth, Nico? Which one?
I can't recapture the use, mate. It's gone.
No,
it's gone.
Yeah, exactly. Now, quickly, before we straighten up and talk stock cars, because qualifying is underway, you've seen a couple of nasty incidents already, and there's one for the 33 on our screen there, right on cue, off to the Southern Loop. That's, of course, Josh Millard. Good field in here tonight, which we're excited about. That wasn't Southern Loop, that was turn 12 coming onto the main straight there. Let's straighten up. Talk me through your night, your race, because you lost a lot of time in the pit stop, mate.
Yeah, I actually hit the wall going into pits.
Come on, Nico.
So, I know, got a 2X there. I was on 0X up to that point. And then I'd actually turned my tyres off, but my pit crew decided to put tyres on the car. It's like, what are you doing?
Okay.
I was sitting there frustrated going, why are you putting tyres on? Anyway, it is what it is. So, I think I was in 7th going into the pits, and I thought, I've got a fairly good pit strategy. But look, top, nearly top 10. That's, I aim for that every week. That's where I want to be. So not too, not unhappy, not, kind of in the middle. Kind of, it's okay. Mediocre.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm just trying to work out what we've gone with here for Chris Whittaker, because he's on the screen now. Well, he was on the screen a moment ago. He's finally changed the coronavirus livery, so we're no longer offending the Victorians.
Like a tiger's livery, isn't it?
It's the red, white, and blue. So it reminded me straight away of.
Car. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of who it reminded me of straight away there.
Donald Trump.
Well, yeah, red, white, and blue, United States. Yeah, we'll get him to explain it to us after the race. Anyway, It's always entertaining when he comes into the chat room, and we will be in the PGM slot then. So I look forward to posing a couple of questions to him that might get a little bit fruity. It'll be good fun. Let's turn our attention to the racing, however. After what we saw of the production cars, and I know you were listening to us as we went there, Nico, it's going to be hard to top in terms of the entertainment quality, but the stock cars will always give us some sort of a show. And I know Nick's been doing the recruiting this week to try and get a good field in the house for this one, which I think he succeeded with. And looking forward to seeing how this plays out, because it's the Cal Watmore Glen Postlethwaite show resuming once more. Yeah,
I'm just looking at the results at the moment. So at the moment, Michael Schreier qualifying 131.006. Brendan Whittaker 131.3. Bretton Hobson 131.8. Chris Whittaker 132.1. So I think we're on lone qualifiers. So quite a few people haven't set a time yet. So it'll be interesting to see if we get some times from these guys. We haven't got much time left. Actually, we've got 5 minutes left. So.
Yeah, not long at all. It's a 10 minutes sole qualifying, 2 laps apiece. So Michael Schreier, Brendan Whitaker, Brenton Hobson. No real surprise to see Brenton right up the front. A little bit of a surprise to see that we haven't seen a competitive time yet from Cal Watmore or Glenn Postlethwaite, but that is coming. You're listed as a competitor tonight, Nico, but I assume that's just for race control purposes?
Yeah, I actually joined as a driver where I was meant to join as watching, but that's okay. My times will be deleted because there'll be none.
Yeah, exactly.
There'll be no times.
The 32 of Jared Daly's just smashed into the wall on the main straight. I've already seen Tim Weir go over on his lid. I've already seen Glenn Postlethwaite go over on his lid. We've seen drivers off the circuit. We've got the 88 of Brenton Hobson around at the start of the loop. It's all going to hell very quickly here. However, the promising thing for Nick is he's already qualified fifth fastest. I mean, the not so good thing, he's got Cal Watmore and Glenn Postlethwaite still to clock a time. Trent Lavis coming through as well. And
Cal just had a time of 1:45, which is really off the pace.
Well, this is right. That's what I mean. He hasn't set a competitive number. So
Rob Carmichael. Rob's a new member to the club, but a very well-known iRacer, and he actually runs his own photography studio for iRacing. So he's jumped on board, and he's also a coach as well. So he's a Porsche GT3 coach as well, and I think he's got a contract in GT3 Porsche as well. So he's certainly quick. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes in these cars.
Now, just you might be able to help ratify this for us as well. We were talking about the upcoming races, and there are two at Bathurst. Now, normally we don't have two in the one season at the same track. So what's the reasoning behind that with the production cars and the stock cars, Nico?
I think we were following the official series. So I think, so next week Bathurst, is that correct? I mean, I haven't got the schedule in front of me.
And then a member vote, and then Bathurst again.
And guess what the members were voting for? Bathurst. I'm going, guys, we're at Bathurst. Come on, really. Let's go somewhere else.
Look, I saw that and I was shaking my head as well. I was like, is there another track there in your mind, folks? Because
absolutely, guys.
You've clearly not looked at the calendar. And let's be honest, and I stress this as a fan of Australian motorsport and a fan of that circuit because it was home for so long. If it's a different format for the 3 weeks or a different car or whatever, all for it. But it would be the same thing on repeat.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that gets a little bit stale.
Yeah, like Formula One.
Perfect example.
Or daylight saving.
Don't start. He's into me already. It's going to be a long night. 35 laps the race distance tonight. Sorry?
Border closures.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that's number one at the moment, and the other is number two, and repetition, wash, rinse, repeat, number three. But in saying all of that, I do like the... as some more cars come out on the circuit, Chris Whitaker, Brendan Whitaker and co out on the circuit now to try and clock a competitive number in the closing stages here.
Hobbo's just going for a drift session at the moment.
Yeah, Hobbo's just showing off now. Stick with this because we don't mind it when Hobbo decides to show off. Championship standings. On count back, once you take out the two worst races, Glenn Postlethwaite 217, Brenton Hobson 183, Cal Watmore 178, Michael Schreier 157, and Trent Lavis 147. 141 for Brendan Whitaker. Nick's on 139, 135 for Adam Lavis, 134 for Chris Whitaker, and 131 for Jackson Rayhana. Have a look at Hopper just doing his thing. Fantastic stuff. So that's the top 10 of the championship at the moment. And just going back to what we were saying, we have a similar problem up here in Queensland as well, Nico. I mean, we don't race every damn week, but it's either, if you're on the races card, it's either QR or Lakeside. If you're strictly Motorsport Australia, it is just Morgan Park, which gets a little bit repetitious after a while. However, we're very fortunate that some of the Motorsport Australia categories run club rounds at the other two venues to spice it up a little bit, because otherwise you could imagine just how predictable, stale and boring it would become. Yeah, so it's one of the advantages of iRacing, I think, is that we get to race around the world in many tracks. Which is a fantastic thing that we have the ability to do in these COVID times. We can race in America, we can race in Europe, we can race in Japan, we can race South America. We can, there's some really fantastic tracks that we go to and learn. And it'd be really interesting if some of these really quick guys got an opportunity to race a real race car at some of these tracks. Like Road America to me is one of my favourite tracks. If you ever had an opportunity
happy to drive a race car around there, I think you'd be in fairly good stead. So we're about to grid up, I think.
We are indeed. Course car lining up on the start-finish straight, so we're going to have a full lap here to ease ourselves into the experience tonight with the stock cars. Interesting too, I believe Phillip Island might have been second in that vote at the moment. So what goes on from the club standpoint? Do you eliminate first and second and go with number 3? I'll come back to Nico in a moment. He's just jumped out of the room. 4.445 kilometres, if I just don't trip over my tongue, is the track distance. 12 turns. The fuel limit 50%. We're talking about a 2-stop race here, folks, depending upon where the caution falls. Of course, last week someone went with a 3-stop strategy, as you will recall. Unlimited tyres, and the setup is identical to baseline, of course. We are approaching 5 o'clock track time here. So we've just ticked over to 5 o'clock track time. It's set to November 15, 2020. Very different setup to what we had for the TCR race. We've got a track temperature of 23 degrees and an overcast ambient temperature of 18 degrees. So uniquely different set of circumstances here. And this racetrack will still be hard on tyres all the same. Race, as I say, 35 laps, which equates to 155.575 kilometres. Fast repair limit of 3. Incident penalty counts after after the first 20 incidents, and then every 10 after that. And we have seen that car-to-car contact is a point around here that we should make mention of. Pace car speed 97 kilometres an hour. Pit lane speed limit 72 kilometres an hour. We are set to go. Nico, it's a little bit of a mixed-up grid tonight. Michael Schreier and Brendan Whitaker on the front row. Brenton Hobson and Chris Whitaker the second row. Ben Nick and Adam Lavis on the third row. Tim Weir and Jackson Rayhana the fourth row. Jack Alessi and also Yanni Sorterion. He's there in position number 10. Pariana Starkis, Connor Brown, Matt Stratford, Cal Watmore, then Glenn Postlethwaite. And we've got a lot more drivers, I think, joining at the back, including Trent Lavis. We've got a massive field for this race, but we've got a very jumbled up grid.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very interesting, I think. There might be a few strategy plays there at the back end, I'd say. So I've got Trent at the back as well. So really, that's interesting. Anyway, we'll see what happens during the race.
Simply, the fact that we've got Glenn and Cal at the back makes this intriguing viewing right from the start. Who gets through the quickest, who navigates their way through the traffic the best.
And also, they may be playing a strategy game because I think coming down into what's the hairpin down the right hand
Honda corner.
Honda corner. I think there could be some action down there first lap, so they might be playing strategy. Keep out of the drama and get through 1, 2, 3 laps and see where they are.
I'm just still getting over the incidents of the last 10 minutes. Xander not having a microwave, and Rob swearing on his own microwave. I mean, fair dinkum. All right,
I've got to jump into race control, Zach, so I'll jump back in when I can.
Okay, mate, no worries, thank you. I'm going to be flying solo for the bit, it seems. Thanks to Paul Nichols, he's down there in race control with young Dylan Gray tonight. We are set for rock and roll here, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen Sim Racing Club for Dual Drift Esports, for Oculair, LJ Hooker Gaindar and Central Coast Subaru. It's a big night of sports action, of course. MotoGP in Austria, the NRL, the AFL continuing on as well. But all eyes and all of our focus and attention and energy for the next hour or so gets put straight on the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. If you are an AFL supporter, incidentally, Carlton leading GWS at quarter time, 10 points to 0. And that's 1-4 playing 0-0. So GWS yet to get off the board on a Friday night. The NRL score earlier, of course, Penrith absolutely annihilating the Sharks, 38 points to 12. Dragons already leading the Broncos, 12-0. We are set for round 7 of the Stock Car Series. We're away at the Island. Brendan Whitaker and I start. Michael Schreier and I start. Chris Whittaker making it 3-1 on the run into turn 1. Michael Schreier should lead us through. Brenton Hobson's jumped up in a second spot. Displaced Brendan Whittaker. In fact, we've had a car go off the circuit at turn 1, it would seem. We got 2 off at the southern loop. 3 off at the southern loop, in fact. It was Brendan Whittaker that went off the circuit at turn 1. So Whittaker towards the back of the field already. 21 starters tonight. Action aplenty here as they hit Honda for the first time. Trouble at Honda. The 51 of Connor Brown's gone round. And already signs that expanding the field causes a little bit of action. There's no doubt about that. Well, here we go. Michael Schreier leads. Brenton Hobson second. That is Brendan Whittaker. Crunched up and heading for the lane, I would suspect. The first of the 3 fast repairs coming his way as they hit Rookie Heights for the first time. Some interesting names in here, of course. Watmore possibly coming from the back. So too Trent Lavis. Brett Selby Wood having a run. So too Simon Ferris and Gerard Daly tonight. So some names that we're not familiar with in terms of the stock cars, but certainly the production car portion of Friday Night Motorsport on Georgia Esports. Round over the main straight. Bit hard to know where to look at the moment. Michael Schreier leads. Brenton Hobson second. Chris Whittaker third. Nick sitting up there in 4th place. Jackson Ray Hunter, then Adam Lavis. 2 and 3 wide through the pack on the run to 1. Trent Lavis has come through to 11th. Glenn Postlethwaite he's a big mover on lap 1. He's jumped up from 15th on the grid to 9th. Cal Watmore, not such a good start for him. He's sitting after starting 14th back down there in 16th. He was one of the cars that ran into trouble on the opening lap. And you've got some cross-country work being done there by the 144 of Parry Anastakis. Back to the front we go. Really good to have so many stock cars roaring around Phillip Island. Hopefully these guys will come back and have a crack when we get them out Panorama in a couple of weeks as well. Or next week, in fact, actually. And then a couple of weeks' time after that. Now, the reason I say that is whilst quantity sometimes outdoes quality, quality sometimes outdoes quantity, it's always good for the highlight reel to have more people to have a look at and see what they're doing. Now, that's the 79 there that we were following. That was Brendan Whittaker trying to follow through. Carl Watmore, there was trouble behind that though. Matt Stratford in the third over there on the far side of turn 11. Down across the start finish line. Schreier leads Hobson, leads Whittaker, then Nick. Jackson Ray Hunter sitting there in 5th spot. Watmore down the inside of the 032. Got the job done on Gerard Daly and moved up into 12th spot. So Watmore the slow mover here first up. Postlethwaite's moved up into 7th. Lavis to 9th. Watmore only up to 12th at the moment. Put the strategy of burning from the stern. Come back to bite these boys. Schreier, Hobson, Whittaker, and then Nick. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's Glenn Postlethwaite putting the pressure on Adam Lavis now as they head towards Rookie Heights. Really good to watch this man, instead of leading from the front, working his way through from the back. Chris Whittaker's gone round on the left-hand side there of your screen. Whittaker is around in the dirt. So Whittaker's had a loss at the bottom of Rookie Heights at MG Corner. Postlethwaite's down on the inside of Adam Lavis and gets through. Job done. Back onto the main straight. That'll be up into 5th position now for Glenn Postlethwaite. Next target, Jackson Ray Hunter. And we got a race going here, folks. Next target, Ray Hunter. Then Nick, who's sitting 3rd at the moment. Brenton Hobson leading the charge to chase down Michael Schreier, who leads this race and has done so from the outset. 1, 2, 3 laps in the books and still 32 to go. And Glenn Postlethwaite already putting the pressure right on Jackson Raihana. Very warm and big good evening to everyone that's tuning in here. I'm just having a look at some of the comments up on our socials. Really good to have so many of you tuning in on a Friday night, spending the start of your weekend with us here on Deirdre Sports. Lap 4 of the stock cars from the island, round 7 of the championship. Of course, we get to Mount Panorama next week. We're then, of course, off to a member boat circuit the week after, and then back to the mountain the weekend after that. So a lot to look forward to here, and we hope you're enjoying it as much as we are on Do Drift Esports for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Chris Whittaker trying to fight his way back through this field on Yanni Satori. Couldn't get the job done. Raihana holding on to what will be position number 5 at the moment. Glenn Postlethwaite already getting by him and accelerating away. Glenn Postlethwaite not only passed Jackson Raihana that time around, so too Adam Lavis and Trent Lavis, but he then put 5 seconds between himself and Raihana. So Adam Lavis and Trent Lavis have also worked their way up and through, past him as Chris Whittaker finally gets by Yanni. I'm interested to learn what happened there to Raihana with Adam Lavis and Trent Lavis getting through so easily on that time round. Into Siberia one more time. Good to have Trent Lavis back on the grid, of course. Had a nasty shunt up at the Noosa Hill climb last week, and he's been working on repairing his road car, ready to go back up to Townsville for one of the support races on the program up there over the next couple of weeks. How good's this racing at the front of the field? Michael Schreier's cleared out. He's 2.2 seconds clear of Brenton Hobson. He's running to a number, no doubt. And he's comfortable at the moment because he's got 5 seconds on Glenn Postlethwaite. He's got 20 seconds on Carl Watmore. Watmore just having trouble getting through the field tonight. He's stuck in traffic. He's 12th at the moment. Next target, Brendan Whittaker. Nick's under pressure now from Glenn Postlethwaite. The two Lavis boys side by side down the main straight there. We ride on board with Nick. Let's take a front shot if we can, Rob, and drive through this lap with Nick into the southern loop. Now, I'm not a gambling man, but I suspect that we'll see Glenn Postlethwaite dart up over the inside of the outside hill at some point this lap, and we'll see it in the confidence in it with Nick's onboard shot. Out of the southern loop into Stoner Corner. The fast sweeping left-hander, that brings him up under brakes into turn number 4, which is, of course, Honda. And Nick's just allowed Glenn Postlethwaite up the inside. I wondered why he was hanging out as long as he was, but Postlethwaite, obviously, Nick wasn't going to make the job difficult for him. He knows that Postlethwaite's faster and he's let him on through without impeding him. So nicely done. Out of Siberia. Up through the gears. Left. Right. Through the hay shed we go. And then the run to Lukey Heights. Nick taking a lot of curb there through Siberia, and through the hay shed more specifically, and then up over Lukey Heights and the run down through to MG. Trouble further afield for Rob Carmichael. He's found the Grafter out of the southern loop. And just have a look at how consistent and how good Glenn Postlethwaite is. I mean, he's no clutch in these stock cars. But look at the gap that Glenn Postlethwaite has pulled in just around half a lap. Round onto the main straight, and there's a lap at Phillip Island for you. Across the line we go. Trent Lavis still trying to find a way by Adam Lavis, and has done now on that previous lap. So, plenty happening out there as Carl Watmore comes across the start-finish line. This is a big talking point that he is this far down the order. His next target will be Jack Alesi, and Watmore still sits 11th at the moment. So, Round 7 of the Stock Car Series continuing for you here on Dual Drift Esports. Now remember, we've got a random caution being thrown by race control some point during this race. It'll be somewhere between laps 5 and 25. So at the end of lap 5, which was obviously a couple of laps ago now, we're on lap 7. The end of lap 25 is when that will be thrown. Nick was saying earlier we reckon it'll be a 2-stop race. What's interesting there is last week, because of where the caution fell, there ended up being a 3-stop race for some of these drivers because they couldn't fuel up and get home in that safety car window. Out of MG one more time, into turn 11 under the bridge. Round to turn 12 and back to the main straight. Now put it this way, if you can get 12 laps to a tank to get home on 2 stops, I'm not quite sure. Nick did send through the data earlier, but I didn't crunch the numbers, as I just ran out of time to do so. So it's a 35.4 litre tank and the fuel burn is 2.5 to 2.8 litres a lap. So let's work with 2.8 on that, because 8 and 4 will go hand in hand. 35.4 divided by 2.8. So you're going to get 12 and a half laps out of a tank. So this is, as far as fuel is concerned, a 2-stop race. However, safety car may dictate a 3rd stop, a short splash and dash, if it falls in the wrong area. So if it was to fall around lap, let's work with numbers here. If it was to fall closer to lap 12, everyone will drive in, it becomes a 2-stop race. If it falls somewhere in between 12 and 24, it becomes a 3-stopper. If it falls closer to 22, 23, everyone comes in, fuels up and gets home. If it's 21, you're fuel saving potentially for maybe a lap or 2 to get home with an extended fuel tank. But if you're burning 2.8 litres a lap, you've got 12.64 laps to that 35.4 litre fuel tank. So it's one of those potato, damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of situations. But look at where Glenn Postlethwaite is now. His next target is Brenton Hobson. He has got by Nick. He sits 3rd. Brenton Hobson 2nd. Michael Schreier leads this race. Now let's not read too much into that just yet. The fact that he has gapped Brenton to the tune of 4.7 seconds says to me that Brenton's being conscious and cautious with tyre and fuel right from the outset. Because not at any point in this series until tonight has Michael Schreier looked like being the fastest man out there. That's no criticism, it's just what happens when you put Watmore, Postlethwaite and Hobson on the same racetrack. In the stock cars. Through into turn 3, that starter corner up to Honda. They go now. Right on board with Yanni Satori. Carl Watmore, my apologies. I'm having a look at. I'm seeing 2 different screens, as you know, Rob, and I'm just trying to work out who's who when you jump on board, because I'm not seeing that information. So Watmore we're on board with. He's following Rayhana and then Chris Whitaker, having got by Yanni. So that's where I've caught myself out there. I was trying to look at the lap board and obviously shouldn't do that. So the next stop is Jackson Rayhana. Rayhana wide on the exit of 10. Straight around the outside, I'll go Carl Watmore and displace him. Job done. He made that look easy. As Watmore moves up into position number 8 now. So he's got behind both Yanni and also Jackson on this lap. The next target will be Chris Whitaker. He'll be, I dare say Carl Watmore will be someone that's looking forward to this caution as well whenever it comes out. Because that will bring him back to the field and it'll bring him back into the race, into the fight. I'll be interested when we get to the post-race show to have a chat to both Glenn and Cal and just see what their thinking was behind burning from the stern tonight, because it's worked beautifully for Glenn. He's going okay. He's chasing down Brenton Hobson. In fact, Hobson's his next target. But for Watmore, he's stuck in the mid-pack. That's very unlike Cal Watmore. So as I say, you've got so many different strategies at play here. We're trying to keep across all of it for you. I have no idea what the random number is, nor does Nick. The only person that knows that is Paul Nichols. Whenever he throws the yellow, that's when the real strategy game in the race begins. We're just warming up as we reach that point now. On board. Following Chris Whittaker's Carl Watmore. Side by side. Have a look at this up on the inside. Watmore straight by Whittaker. Made that look easy. Up to 7th now as Whittaker slips back into 8th. Across the line they go. Another lap in the books here at the island. It's the end of lap 10. We're on lap 11. 25 laps to go. 15:42 gone in this race. So once you take the caution into consideration here, we'll be somewhere between that 55-minute and 60 or the 1 hour mark. Great to have so many people tuning in via Facebook Live, via Twitch, via YouTube as well. And, all around Australia, all around the world, in fact. Just to give you some news here, an update here. The entire MotoGP grid is split by just 1 second in free practice 1 for this weekend's Styrian Grand Prix in Austria. I'll give you the results a little bit later on in more detail. But that's incredibly tight, the opening practice session for MotoGP. As you know, I'm getting score alerts from different things while I sit here and call the action. And that was one that just stood out on the sheet. MotoGP field split by 1 second in opening practice. Look at Watmore and how he's just managing to clear away, pull away from Chris Whittaker here. He's leaving him for dead. Back to the front. Michael Schreier's done an awesome job thus far. I don't know if he can maintain this pace when we get to the back end. And when he's going to have Postlethwaite and Watmore bearing down on him, and also certainly Brenton Hobson right on his neck, right on his tail. I just don't know. But he's setting a really fast pace, a really fast tempo here in the opening stages. It is lap 12. For those of you playing along at home, which means pit stop window. Which means so much can play out from here. Now, this is the thing. We don't know when this competition caution falls. Nor do the drivers. It's a random lucky draw. It's like being in the raffle and always losing. It's that sort of 50-50 sort of scenario. Because the strategy game will work for some drivers when that safety car comes out, and for others it just absolutely won't. How much fuel can you save to stretch the fuel load or the fuel run, and how many laps extra will you get out of that? We were talking earlier about getting about 12.5 out of the tank. It's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out very shortly. Round they come. Lavis the next target for Watmore. That's Adam Lavis. Here comes Watmore into the lane. Perfect timing. We were on him for the moment that he decided to steer left into the pits. And Cal Watmore is in. He's being followed in by Chris Whittaker. He's being followed in by, I think, Jackson Rayhana as well. And that is correct. So the three of them in the lane on the one lap, and Glenn Postlethwaite in and gone before Cal Watmore even pulls up. That is a big lead that Glenn Postlethwaite's amassed there already, as we have Paul Nichols back in the boots for us. Anything from race control, Nico?
This stage, Dylan and myself, Dylan Gray, he's doing a really good. He's race control in training and steward in training, so he's doing a great job looking out for incidents. And at this stage, most of the people have put themselves off track by themselves. That's the problem.
Exactly. It makes your job much easier if that's the case. Now, just while you're here, mate, because I know you're going to get back. Oh, no, one more straight off the circuit on the exit of the pit lane. He rejoins the race on fresh tyres and then goes rallying. And that's exactly what I was about to come to call Nichols about, because Cal Watmore, it hasn't been his night so far, Nico. He and Postlethwaite burning to his turn. Postlethwaite's made it look like a breeze in the park, while Watmore's made it look like peak hour traffic on the M4.
Would have been pushing it a little bit too hard, I'd say.
I tell you what, we're all interested to learn when this caution's coming, this competition caution, and what it's going to mean for strategy play, because for many of them last week it turned the race from 2 stops to 3, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and you just reminded me I need to work that out.
That would be a good idea. Otherwise it's going to be green all the way, and that's not fun. Now, Brenton Hobson's in the lane. Michael Schreier's in the lane. No, that's Nick, my apologies. Nick's in the lane, and I will hazard a guess that it's Adam Lavis that's followed them in as well. The ocular aerial shot shows and tells the story of Phillip Island, the gateway to hypothermia right here, right now. Brenton Hobson out of the lane, back in the motor race. Michael Schreier pressing on. That's an interesting point.
I've just come up with a number. It's a very interesting number, Zach.
Very interesting number. All right. Because let's face it, we're working out that pit stops, if you go 12 and 24, you get home 35, no problem. But then, if you're saying interesting, I'm going to hazard a guess that we're going to be talking either a fuel save or a splash and dash option in terms of it becoming a 2 and 3 stop race. So that
I can't tell you.
well, this is right. All right, you best go back and look after Dylan then. If you're not going to enlighten me on anything, good to have your company though, mate. We'll catch up soon.
It starts with a 2. That's what I'm going to say.
Well, okay, interesting. All right,
I'll be back.
Look forward to it. And of course, 25 is the last lap in which a safety car can be deployed. As we say, it won't be deployed after lap 25. It won't be deployed before lap 5. We're of course well past lap 5 now. It's lap 14 of this particular race. Yep. That was a big lock up from, and I'm just trying to work out who it was. There's a car sitting in the grass back there. We're watching Parianastakis go around Siberia, but I'd want to know who that was in the grass there at Honda Corner, because it was a green car, and I couldn't tell you if it was one of the Lavises or whether it was someone more important. I'm still watching Parianastakis go up over Lukey Heights. Cal Watmore across the line. He's sitting there in... Cal Watmore's going to 6th. Down the inside of Chris Whitaker into turn 1, and Watmore goes to 6th. While you're watching Parianastakis coming out onto the main straight. And across the line here. Now we pick up the battle. So Watmore displaces Whitaker. Ray Harner's in behind him. Again, apologies, we just didn't pick up the number of the car that had the spin here last time around. Could have been one of the Lavis boys. I'll come back to you on that. I don't think so. Well, couldn't have been Adam Lavis, because he's right over the back of Jackson Ray Harner here, as you see. We'll try and work that one out a little bit later. Up over Wiki Heights. Apologies, folks. It's a little bit difficult. I'm the only one permanently in the commentary box tonight in terms of myself, Nick and Paul. Nick's obviously focusing on the racing. Paul's in race control with Dylan Givens. So if you missed something, it's just stiff at the moment. They come around onto the main straight one more time. Have a look at this. Jackson Ray Harner doing well to hold off Adam Lavis here. Round onto the main straight. Chris Whitaker. Brendan Whitaker actually in behind them. Michael Schreier leads this race by 3 seconds. To Glenn Postlethwaite. 7 seconds back to Brenton Hobson. Then Nick. Then Trent. Then Cal. Then Chris. Then Jackson. Closely followed by Adam Lavis, which is who we're watching now. Through the southern loop. the top 12 all on the lead lap at this point in time. Lavis firing it down the inside of Rayhana. He got the job done. So Lavis goes through into position number 8. Rayhana slots back in. Brendan Whitaker's on their tail right now. Their next target is Chris Whitaker, but he's 4 seconds down the road. Watmore's leapfrog Tim cleared out, but his next target is 8 seconds down the road, and that's Trent Lavis. So we've been told to keep an eye out for lap anywhere after lap 20, because that's when the caution's going to fly, because as Nico said, it starts with the 2. That was the only hint he gave us. If it's 21, if it's 22, we're talking fuel saving. Significant fuel saving. If it's 23, 24, a little bit of fuel saving. Well, particularly for 23. But 24, 25, we're in the clear. We get home on the fuel. So it's either going to be a fuel save race or a mad, flat-out dash. Sort of a checkered flag, depending upon where the safety car is deployed. I can't see them saving 4 laps if the thing comes out on lap 20. So it could well be that they have a quick splash and dash behind the safety car to top up at the end of the safety car pit. We'll wait and see. It's going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds. So, across the back stretch we go. Look at Brendan Whitaker applying the pressure to Jackson Rayhana here on the run to turn 4 to Honda. Phillip Island looking an absolute picture here. They're sideways, the pair of them on the exit of Honda. Brendan Whitaker on the outside, Jackson Rayhana on the inside. Whitaker had a sniff, just couldn't convert. He does nicely to gather it back up. Geez, they were on the absolute limit right there as they head up over Lukey Heights. Have a look at that, folks. What a lovely time of the afternoon. Sim time reads at 5:31 local time. We are just under half an hour into this race. Red caution is coming and Brendan Whitaker is back in the lane. Certainly for him it's a scheduled pit stop because of the damage early. That's an interesting gamble because you certainly won't get 18 laps out of the tank. So he will be obviously banking on that caution coming at a time where he can fuel up or refuel up and get home. Hello again to Tim, who's tuning in down there in the beautiful New South Wales Hunter Valley. I wish I could be down there with you at the moment, especially with daylight saving approaching, mate. But watching us on the 65-inch screen tonight, so that's bigger than any screen that I've got in the office here. And the product looks good. I can imagine it's only gets better the bigger the screen gets. So good on you, mate. Glad you're enjoying the action. Our mate Jackson having an all right run at the moment, sitting down there in position number 9. You're watching John Potterwade on the screen at the moment, round onto the main straight from 15th on the grid up into 2nd and closing in on Michael Schreier. The gap has come down from 2.3 to 1.7 and Potterwade is charging. Look at him go. So how long until we get to this caution? How long until Potterwade's right on Schreier's tail and fighting for the top spot here? Just a quick update from the AFL. Carlton leading 37-12 at the moment over the Gold Coast Suns, who have been there or thereabouts this season, but just not going to make the finals race with those small, 4 and 5 point losses that they've had. That's going to be the difference between them making it and breaking it as far as that's concerned. So, the Gold Coast fan, make the most of the last few weeks of the regular season because you're not going to see them in the finals this year. They're getting closer though. Michael Schreier, Glenn Potterwade, that's the battle we're focusing on at the moment. 1.7 seconds. Potterwade doing a nice job. Closing in, and this is the point that we'll focus on post-race. There are a few points: tyre wear, traffic, and also Glenn Postlethwaite's ability to just manoeuvre his way through the field a little bit easier than his arch nemesis in this series, Carl Watmore. Nick's having a good run at the moment. Trent Lavis just has got through on him though, so Trent Lavis moves up into position number 4, displacing Nick. Brenton Hobson still sitting third, but he's 9 seconds away from Glenn Postlethwaite right now. You remain with Postlethwaite around the southern loop. Brilliant racing circuit, this Phillip Island Grand Prix track. Steeped in rich history. Unfortunately, not a lot of it will be over 2020, but anyway. I got the World Superbike round in before coronavirus, and that's about it. So, we feel for our Victorian friends, but thank Christ for sim racing, as so many have said over the course of the last 5 months. We ride on board with Postlethwaite, it just makes it look ultra smooth, doesn't it? It just makes it look so easy. It's anything but. These are some of the hardest cars to drive in the world, the stock cars, as Cal Watmore comes down on the inside to put a lap on Tim Weir. He's still sitting there in 6th at the moment. We've hit lap 20, so keep your eyes peeled. We'll be going to the caution, the competition caution, anytime soon. That will bring the likes of Cal Watmore and also Chris Whittaker back into this race, because the field will bunch up. And everyone from Tim Weir down, Parry Anastakis, Connor Brown, Jared Daly, who are still in this race, they will get their lucky dog, their wave around, their free pass to unlap themselves and join on at the rear of the field. But the fact of the matter is that, for the moment, this is a 2-horse race. It is Michael Schreier and Glenn Postlethwaite. The caution will change all of that. It's going to give us a very critical bit of analysis and a bit of number crunching to do as well, because we will all be looking at that magic number that I was talking about earlier with Nick, when he was talking about the fuel burn number, 12.64 seconds. 12.64 laps to a tank of fuel. 35.4 litres to the tank. 2.8 is the max fuel burn a lap. Anyone that can do it in 2.5, 2.6 will benefit greatly in the long run and might net 13 laps. But if you're burning 2.8 litres a lap, you're not going to get down to that 13. So therefore, you are kind of sort of hoping for the caution to fall lap 23, lap 24, or maybe even lap 22. 22 would actually, the pits wouldn't open until lap 23. That would give you 13 laps and a little bit of fuel saving behind the caution. So it could well be very interesting to see how all this is going to play out. And anytime 21, 22 is going to make it very interesting. 25, it's a cruise home for everybody. They come in, they top up, and it's a race to the finish. Do your best, go your hardest. Speaking of which, a man that always goes his hardest in the stock cars is Glenn Postlethwaite. He didn't sit in the winner's circle last week. We're not used to seeing him off the top step of the podium. He's right there on Michael Schreier's tail now, and we have 14 I should say, laps to go. I've got my eyes peeled on the right of screen for the caution flag to fly. I'm expecting it any tick of the clock. At the moment, it is Michael Schreier, Glenn Postlethwaite trailing by just 0.6 of a second, if that. At this point in time, look at it. It's the car length. It's a margin of a car length, and that's it as they make their way out of 4. Marunda, Siberia. Schreier, Postlethwaite, Lavis, Nick, Cal Watmore, Chris Whittaker, Adam Lavis, Brenton Hobson in the top 8 at the moment. Brendan Whittaker, Jackson Rayhana outside. Tyre wear was always going to be a talking point tonight. I doubt there'll be a single driver that opts not to take 4 tyres when they get to this pit stop. 2 tyres during a green flag stop, but 4 tyres during the pit stop. We are going to be at a point where they can, I think at this point there'll be 13 laps to go when Postlethwaite and Schreier cross the line, and they're diving in. They're in now. They're in early. This is interesting because, for so many reasons, they're in right now. They can't get another lap out of the tank. And there are 13 laps to go as they cross the line. 12.64, the minimum to a tank. In fact, let me crunch the numbers the other way there as well, since these guys are in the lane now. Positive weight is in. Now what this does is change the complexion of the race, because anyone that can get to the pit stop in the safety car should benefit with track position. Positive weight puts 2 tyres on, he's gone. When we get to the caution, whenever that flies, and Positive Weight's leapfrogged. Positive Weight has leapfrogged Michael Schreier. What about that? Extraordinary scenes here at Phillip Island as Glenn Postlethwaite assumes the lead of the race on corrected order once everyone comes into their pit stop. However, how many are going to do that under the caution, which should be flying this lap, the next lap, or at worst, and at last, the lap after? Because 25 is the last time that the last lap in which it is allowed to fly. The rules of the series state first 5 laps or last 10 laps, or end last 10 laps, not all. First 5, last 10, caution free. So the fact that we've had 23 green flag laps so far means that this caution flies over lap 24 or 25. The caution does not get thrown in that last 10 laps. So if we start lap 26, at this stage we'll be under caution. But as long as the caution gets thrown, 23, 24, 25, and a reminder that Glenn Postlethwaite's coming round as Tim Weir has a spin. There's the caution now! Hey, here we go! This changes everything. This changes everything. The end of lap 24, the end of lap 23, the start of lap 24. Exciting times here, Nico, because at the start of lap 24, there's no one in this race that can't fuel up and not get home. So this is a green flag, all guns blazing, flat out run to the line.
Yeah, as I said, interesting number. Sorry.
Well, yeah, very interesting number. And more so because Glenn Postlethwaite and Michael Schreier came in and topped up before. So they've got a choice now. They either fuel save, and this is where I was getting to, they either fuel save or they come in, top up, and have a real crack.
So it would be interesting to see what they decide to do. I mean, Trent's following the safety car from what I can see, so Glenn's just catching him at the moment. So yeah, look, really interesting. I mean, that number came up and went, wow, that's a really critical number.
Oh, it certainly is. 24, and they would have been absolutely right. 23 gives you 13 laps. Of course, you're going to save a little bit under the caution. So everyone now, if they pit on the second lap of the safety car, so not this time round, next time round, there's no reason why none of them get home with any fuel dramas whatsoever. If we were crunching the numbers there earlier, we said 12.64 laps to a 35.4 litre tank if you're burning 2.8 a lap. If you are burning 2.5 a lap, which is the most economical, you're getting 14.16. So neither Postlethwaite or Schreier were getting that number because they came in early. So at this point in time, all that goes out the window.
Absolutely. Looking at Trent at the moment,
everyone can come in now.
Trent's clutching, so he's saving fuel.
Everyone can come in now, though, top up and get home. The other critical question, Nico, do we take 4 tyres or do we take 2? Because Glenn Postlethwaite has already taken 2 fresh ones.
I think you just fuel up, wouldn't you? You just fuel up and go.
You'd have to. Now, that's interesting because one of those cars has already stayed out. Here comes Hobbo, Whittaker, Lavis, and Tim Weir, all in the lane. Forget about Weir, though. He's not in the equation. He's a lap down. There are a few guys that will have to be waved around, of course. In fact, at the moment, Yanni, Tim Weir, Parry Anastakis, Connor Brown, and Jared Daly are all still in this race, and they will all get a wave around, although Jared's 2 laps down, so he won't get back onto the lead lap. Everyone else will. They have a look at pit lane, the hub of activity that is. Both the Whittakers, Hobson, Lavis. That's the 23, of course. That's Adam Lavis. There's Trent in as well. There's the 89 of Tim Weir. Jackson Rayhana's in. Pit lane is absolutely flat out here. And also because I think Glenn Postlethwaite has stayed out. So Postlethwaite and Schreier have stayed out, and they will be fuel saving because they came in. What was it? 2021. They came 21. I think they came in.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
and then the the caution flag waved at the start or midway through, almost to the end of lap 23. So they've had 2 flat out laps. Now they are in mega fuel save mode to get through this caution period and then have a flat out run to the line.
How the safety car works? So it's a random number generator. So we have a random number generator between laps 5 and laps 25. So Zach reminded me to actually do it tonight, lap 13, and I went, oh shit, Shipper, I need to do the random safety number. So yeah, it came up with lap 24. So there we are.
Am I seriously the only one that's going to not swear tonight? Because everyone else has had a crack.
I said sugar.
Yes, 2 teaspoons too. All right, thank you, Paul. We should tip from here, mate, before we let you go, because obviously it's Glenn back at the front. Michael's right there. Nick's in a good position, so too Carl Watmore, and obviously, I mean, the safety car, a big help to Carl Watmore given the first 2 stints of the race. Anyone else outside of that, or is it just those 5 that we've got to keep an eye on now?
I think, look at Glenn, Michael, Nico, Cal, Trent's doing really well, and Chris Whittaker could be going to catch some time up there. So Chris and Hobbo as well. Hobbo's always had that strategy, so who knows? And Adam as well. Like Adam's top 10. Well done.
Now we just want to stress too, the safety car will go around one more time. That will get us to the start of lap 26. Now people will say, "Oh, I thought you go green for the last 10 laps." No. The caution can't be thrown in the last 10 laps. So if it's thrown just before and we creep into that final 10, that's all good. We're above board. We're okay. And this is going to be very interesting to see how all this plays out. So, thank you to Paul Nichols for jumping into the broadcast booth to have a chat to us during the caution period here. Lights have just gone out on the safety car, so next time round it'll be green flag flying and we'll be going back racing. Tim Weir's coming through to unlap himself. Jared Daly as well. That's going to bring this race to a head. We've had a few retirements already. Daniel Aish, Simon Ferris, Rob Carmichael, Matt Stratford, Brett Selby Wood. But at least we had over 20 on the grid for the first time in a while. Things just got really interesting here. 42 minutes, 24 seconds gone in this race at the time of which Glenn Postlethwaite passed the line, past the stripe there last time round. And here we go. So we're on lap 26, 10 to go, 9 of which will be flat out to the checkered flag. We have got our fingers, toes and everything else crossed. We are nervous with the anticipation of what's to come.
I'm going to put a bet on.
Yes, Nico.
No money at all. I'm not going to put money on. I'm going to have a go at Chris Whittaker.
Okay, righto. That's a bold prediction because he's P6 at the moment, so he's got a lot of groundwork to do. I mean, Nick will be ecstatic with him sitting there 3rd at the moment. And how long can he keep Watmore, Lavis and Whittaker at bay? And what can Glenn Postlethwaite do? Because we know he's running a different game to everyone else. We know because of when they pitted, Watmore, Lavis, Whittaker, they're all good. Nick's good. But Postlethwaite and Schreier are fuel saving from this point. Talk about a recipe for entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. We've got it in spades for you here over the next 9 laps. About 20 minutes worth of racing to come your way here for the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Right on Motorsport, we'll check back in with Nico at the end of the race. He's going to get back to race control. Right. We are set to rock and roll. The final 9 laps of the island on a Friday night. Let's do it. For all Q-Air, for all Joe Hooker Gang down Central Coast Server, and Lovis in trouble immediately before we go underway. spinning in the last corner. Lit the tyres up and went around before the green flag even flew. And it looks like one of the Whitakers was in trouble halfway down the main straight as well. He was. That was Chris Whitaker. There goes Paul's prediction out the window immediately. I'll be interested to see what happened there. That was carnage. 2 contenders gone. And it's only 9 laps from home. Now interesting to note, Brenton Hobson's charging through. His next target is Adam Lavis now. Down the inside, Hobson's going to 5th. Next, the next target is already being passed by Cal Watmore. Schreier and Postlethwaite continue to lead away. And they are fuel saving. Everyone else is good to get to the flag. High drama here on the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit in Victoria. Now, it's Friday Night Motorsport on Doer Drift Esports. Hobson round the outside of Nick and to 3rd. Hobson on a charge. Sorry, to 4th, my apologies. Cal Watmore, the next target for him. Brendan Whitaker round the outside. Adam Lavis up the inside. And Whitaker gets the spot on Lavis as well. There has been that much chopping and changing of the first lap here upon the resumption of play. Oh, it's extraordinary. Now, hang on. Someone's just gone into pit lane there. That was Brenton Hobson. Forget about Hobbo. He's no chance. He's in the lane. Wow. Would you believe that? So Brenton Hobson, he's out of contention here. He's out of the contest. Nick's on target for a podium. He's got to hold off the hard charges. Brendan Whitaker, Adam Lavis, Jackson Ray Hanna in the run to the flag. Trent Lavis is 13 seconds off this fight. Chris Whitaker is 14 seconds off the fight. The first 2. Now, hang on. Just having a look there. Nick's just let Brendan Whitaker through on the inside. You know who else is not on the screen at the moment? Glenn Postlethwaite. So Postlethwaite has dived in as well. Whoa, Michael Schreier's leading the way at Phillip Island. What about this? Now Glenn's come back through. I'm a little bit confused. Yeah, it'll be a netcode issue, Rob, because he's come back in showing as the leader. I'm a little bit confused as to what's going on there right now. We'll try and get Glenn back. We'll try and... Rightio. Oh, what drama here. Across the line, you're right. You are absolutely right. What drama here on a Friday night. We've lost 3 contenders in 2 laps. Now it's Michael Schreier against Cal Watmore, and Watmore's had a shocking night until this point, but he just might be able to clean up the bickies here and take home the chocolate. Right about this, Michael Schreier's led pretty much the whole way. Now, no longer, because Watmore's up the inside through Stoner Corner, and Cal Watmore goes to the lead. What about that? I can't believe what we're seeing here in the last 3 laps. So much drama to try and unpack here for you. And Watmore has got himself to the front. The task made seemingly easy as Schreier looks to fight back on the outside through the hay shed. They're going to go through their 2x2. And look at that. Oh, Schreier's clipped the glass. Forget about that. He did well to gather him up, and he tries to give Watmore the big hurry up over Lukey Heights. And can't do it. But he's going to be applying the pressure to Watmore all the way to the checkered flag. So we've lost Glenn Postlethwaite. He's there in 3rd. He's come back onto the screen. And it'll be nothing more than an internet issue at his end. We know that particular point of iRacing is synonymous with Glenn Postlethwaite. He sits 3rd. And he is now trying to track down Michael Schreier and Cal Watmore in the closing laps here. Trent Lavis is trying to fight back after making a mistake off the restart. Chris Whitaker doing the same thing. They sit 8th and 9th. And Michael Schreier could just get 2nd here. I don't have any idea why Brenton Hobson was in the lane after the restart. He went in one lap after the restart, unless it was a penalty, and we'll get Paul Nichols to clarify that for us later. There is no reason why Brenton Hobson should have been in the lane one lap after the restart. Oh boy, Jared Daly's in the broadcast booth with me. Jared, what happened to you, mate?
I just got caught up in the whole black flag thing, just latest restart, and I was sitting there. I pitted straight away, and unfortunately, it was getting sorted out. I just was in there too early. It happens.
Oh, this is exactly right, mate. Thank Christ you did come into at this point, because I needed a drink. I needed to re-lubricate the tonsils. The drama off the restart here is just something else. And Schreier looking around the outside at turn 11 on Callum Watmore. Are you kidding me? Have a look at this. Schreier fancies his chances are on the outside going to turn 12. He's in the marbles. That's no good. He'll have to tuck back in and get the run down the main straight. Callum Watmore under serious pressure. But for once in his life, it's not from Glenn Postlewaite. Now, Scott Nolan's just messaging me, and I appreciate that, Scotty. He's just advising me that it was a pit lane infringement penalty for Brenton Hobson, so that will explain what that's all about. We didn't see it pop up on the survey here. It's obviously something that's come up internally from our race steward, so thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. Jared, since you are here, the stock cars at Phillip Island, they are a handful. Tyreware's been a big talking point tonight, but can you believe the drama we've had here? It's good to see more cars on the grid, but gee, there's a lot of drama to go with it.
It's been pretty spectacular. It's good fun racing, good mix of everything in there. Enjoyed it massively.
And you're someone that gets involved in just about everything we do. We see you on a Monday night, we see you on a Friday night in both races normally. Do you have a preferred car that you steer in this iRacing server?
It's got to be the Ferrari GT3.
No, sure.
I keep it simple. For me, these things are a handful. And, I'm still learning at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Yeah, it's a mess if you watch me.
Is it true what Nick was saying on socials earlier in the day that driving a stock car will instantly improve your ability in every other car you drive because of the high degree of difficulty with which these cars are to steer?
I've got to agree with that. It's how do you put it? It takes away all the assists, all the aids. It's just you. So if you want to go around the corner quick, you want to come out quick, it's up to you. You got nothing to fall back on. Whereas the GT3 can get away with anything, almost. These things, they're unforgiving and they're nasty and they're good fun.
Indeed they are. Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Quite again.
The only difference between Postlewaite and Harold Holt is Postlewaite has come back so far. I mean, seriously, that's twice he's disappeared and we've gone on a search for him, but he's actually come back. So I'll put my house on it that it is, and I don't have a house. I'll put the link on it. It'll be incredibly frustrating for him. But as I say, yeah, exactly, yeah, yep. As I say, I'll put the rental on it that it is network issues at his end because he's had it before. In the meantime, we need to keep our eyes on this. Stay with us, Jared, because this is going to be quite thrilling this last few laps here. We'll come back to you as soon as the race is done. This is Carl Watmore holding on by 3 car lengths over Michael Schreier. What an incredible performance from Michael Schreier tonight to push, I should say, Watmore and Postlewaite and everyone else all the way. You might have just noticed on your screen that you saw Nick come with the shot, but not Glenn Postlewaite. Postlewaite's now dropped down the order again, so I think we have probably lost him this time. However, I remain hesitant on that because, again, he might just pop back up. This is quite extraordinary that it's played out this way because we said Chris Whittaker was in contention. We said Trent Lavis was in contention. They were gone before we even got back to the start-finish strike after the caution period. Now it's a race between Watmore and Schreier. And Watmore has just put a little bit of extra distance between himself and Michael Schreier in the last couple of laps here. It could be back-to-back victories or Cal Watmore. It could be Nick on the podium if Glenn Postlethwaite is officially out of this thing. But we'll wait and see with interest what might happen here over the last couple of laps. Phillip Island serving up a treat tonight in so many different ways. Up over Lukey Heights, down into MG. And this is Michael Schreier's best drive of the season. There is no doubt about that. He's just not going to have enough in the end to get to Cal Watmore, but Watmore is synonymous with stock cars. He pretty much dedicates his iRacing life to stock cars. This is the time for him to shine and show us why he is, when Glenn Postlethwaite doesn't win, why Cal Watmore does, why he is the benchmark. Now he will join Hobson and Postlethwaite, doubling up this season. And of course, Postlethwaite has 3 wins, Hobson 2. Watmore will get his second tonight. We are on the second last lap. We are on the run home. The race time is going to be just this side of 60 minutes. It was 55:59.2 last time by the line for Cal Watmore. The lap times tonight would indicate that we will be somewhere in the vicinity of 59.5 to 59 and 40 seconds in terms of race time. So that has been an awesome drive from Cal Watmore. Rob? Well, and this is important too because, so he's got Chris Whitaker following him, and I appreciate you coming to these boys because they're still fighting over 8th and 9th. Now, the reason for this is Trent spun off the restart at turn 12, and Whitaker visited the grass halfway along the main straight. Before they got back to the line, the drama had started. These two ripped themselves off. They were out of contention. I'll be interested to see what happened to Trent, and more even so interested to find out what happened to Chris, to suss all this out in the post-race, because they were right in contention there. And then, especially when you look at the fact that Hobbo got the penalty and Postlethwaite dropped out of the server, it's now, and we're just getting word through on our time screen here that Postlethwaite is back in the race, but he's now behind Nick. So Nick is third, and he's got a couple of seconds to try and hold off here on the last lap. So there's no doubt in my mind that had they been able to avoid those incidents off the restart on lap 20, what was it, the start of lap 27, that Whitaker and Lavis would have been on track for a podium given their form in the stock cars in the past. Oh well, we're going to have a very mixed up podium and a very happy Nick, I dare say, joining us in the post-race chat very shortly. Through Siberia for the final time. What a performance this has been from Callum Watmore. It was a shocking start to the race. The burn from the stern strategy looked like it backfired massively. And then with a few different things happening that were all out of his control, he had no say in what was going on ahead of him, but it all fell into place for him. The dominoes crashed all over the place, and through came Watmore with the dice and just to vacuum it all up and soak it all in. And he is going to be the last man standing after a tremendous and gallant fight from Michael Schreier. It'll come to no avail because Callum Watmore, to back up what he did last week at the Glen, will sweep around onto the main straight here and get the job done at the Island. Watmore does it at the Island again this season. Second time he's done it on a Friday night for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. He runs round 7 of the Stock Car Series in this particular portion of the iRacing season. Of course, this is season 2. And Callum Watmore is victorious on a Friday night. Very nicely done. Does it at the Island ahead of Michael Schreier. Nick gets home in third. Adam Lavis, then Jackson Rayhana, Jack Allisey, then Trent Lavis, Chris Whitaker home in 9th, only the second set by the Yam and the Yam. Then 10th spot went to Brenton Hobson, who fought back from that penalty that he had. Yardy's got home in 11th, Tim Weir 12th, Harrietta Starkus a lap down, so too Connor Brown, and Glenn Postlethwaite dropping out of the server. on the last lap there, and he'll be classified 15th. This is a game changer as far as the championship is concerned, because Cal Watmore has put himself right back in contention. What a cracker of a motor race that was. So many different factors falling in to place there just at the right time for Cal Watmore. And he has gone back-to-back. 59 minutes, 9 seconds. The race time there after 35 laps. Simply extraordinary. Incredible stuff. 2.1 the winning margin. Mo 10 seconds clear of Nick. 5 seconds then back to Adam Lavis, who had 3 seconds over Jackson Rayhana. He was 2 seconds clear of Jack Allisey, who had Trent Lavis and Chris Whittaker within 2.5 of him. So no real battles there in the end, except for that one for the front of the field. Cal Watmore and Michael Schreier. Oh, let me grab a breath. That was incredible stuff. Jared, I've seen a lot of Gentleman Sim Racing Club action over the last 4 months, and I know you have as well. This week is about as good as we've had.
Oh, just going from Monday, what was it, the Barber Motorsports track? That was nuts. I've watched that replay twice. That was good fun.
Yes.
What you're missing out on is the ladies' race, to be honest. That's been spectacular.
This is true.
Not all of them were as scary to watch as the first one with the highlight reel. But yeah, the quality of those girls going around has gone through the roof. Big shout out to all of them. They've been spectacular. Then what was Wednesday night? That was the up and comers.
The up and comers and the Porsches, GTR and GT4 and TCR. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been fun all week. It's been a blast.
It has been fantastic, mate. Hang around, because we're going to get some drivers in here for the post-race in just a moment. Paul Nichols, it all went to hell in the last 9 laps. What the hell was that?
Well, that's racing, I suppose. I mean, really awesome effort. Wow. Started P14, gridded P14, P1. What a drive. Awesome drive. Michael Schreier, well done. Gridded P1, P2. I think Cal was just on a mission tonight, and Nico Pop, fantastic effort. P5 to P3.
He's doing those at the moment. He's very happy with himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam as well. Adam, awesome drive. So P6 to P4. And Jackson Rayhana, this is not his bread and butter, obviously. He's,
no.
Yeah, he's a go-karter. These cars are not like a go-kart. they don't want to stick to the road at all. So great drive.
You've brought Dylan Gray into the commentary box with you. Good evening, Dylan. What were your thoughts on that, mate?
Oh, it was awesome. Just watching all the cars going around. Also, finding what happened to everyone. Did they make a mistake by themselves, or did they get punted off?
Well, it's a very good question you ask, and we're about to pose that to a few drivers here in just a moment. Once
a bit of fuel strategy as well.
Drag them all in. Well, this is exactly right.
Really interesting, yeah, and tyre strategy. So really interesting race. Dylan and I were talking about it during the race. So thanks, Dylan, for being being a race control in training. So well done, Dylan.
Yes, the apprentice. He's doing a nice job. There's no doubt about that. And, of course, he's doing a nice job when he's on the track as well here in the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Bring these drivers in, Nico. Let's have a chat to them. What an incredible race that was. Where do we want to start? I mean, seriously. Let's go to the top of the town. Cal Watmore. I mean, unbelievable effort, mate, because we look at the stats. You and Glenn Postlethwaite did the unusual in burning from the stern. For the first 2 stints of that race, it certainly wasn't going to script for you. And then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose in the last 9 laps. And here you are for the second week in a row cleaning up. Well done, mate.
Thanks so much. It was a really messy start to the race. And both of us did the same thing. We stuffed up our quality lap. But I really feel for Glenn, who's disappeared with his bad internet, which really sucks. It's going to be a cracking race with the 3 of us, with Michael as well. But
we're trying to work out what happened to Glenn. I mean, we both, Dylan and I, said, well, what's happened to Glenn? He's disappeared. So it must have been an internet connection.
My spotter clicked on the entries and his ping was up near 2,000.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right, that'll do it. Bloody hell. Cal, talk us through that, because obviously Glenn got a tremendous run through traffic in the opening stint. You did not. You seemed to be fairly stuck in traffic there. What was the go?
I avoided a crash at the start and went on the grass, and I got a great jump on the green. Glenn got a bit bottled up behind a couple of cars, so I was up, and then dodged a car, no hard feelings, and wobbled off. And from there, I was setting sail okay until I just started barging off everywhere and was making an absolute meal of it. And then from there, Ross was on the strategy for us, and we were 4 tyres every stop, stretching it pretty much as far as it could go.
Yep.
And then when the safety car came, it ended up pretty much in the window. So with the laps counting down, we knew it was going to be soon. So we're like, all right, let's stop under green. And if we have to save, we'll save a heap under safety car. And that'll get us home and just look after them, fresh out of the pits. And then sure enough, we pitted, and caution came out. And
it wasn't just you fuel saving as well, because it was also Glenn Postlethwaite on the fuel saving strategy too, because both he and actually Michael Schreier as well, because all 3 of you pitted before that safety car, whereas everyone else was on the opposite, because they were able to top up during the safety car. And you guys were damned if you did, damned if you didn't during the safety car. Let's be perfectly honest, because it was right on the cusp, right on the window there. But in the fair income department, all the dominoes started to fall and fly all over the place for you, so it didn't really become a factor, did it?
Yeah, that's right. So as we crunched the numbers and went to pit, I saw Glenn and Michael also did the same thing. So the 3 of us, and Nick also nailed the timing of his stop, and I was caught dawdling on my outlaps, saving my stuff, because I knew the safety car was going to be soon. And Nick got the jump of us on us, at the safety car, so started ahead. And a good fight, a good podium, Nick.
Thank you.
I'll be interested to find out what. All right, I don't have access to the Twitch feed at the moment, but I will get someone to maybe forward them through to me via Facebook at the moment. And I'm going to go straight to Brenton Hobson, because he's on borrowed time right now. Brenton, obviously you were one of the dominoes that fell during that final 9 laps. Just talk us through what happened and why you ended up back in the lane. We ended up finding out that it was a stop and hold penalty, but what exactly led to that, mate?
It was a rookie mistake, really. It's something I've been caught by before at Phillip Island, just on the pit entry under yellow past the car, because the pit entry is shorter than the racetrack. So got pinged for passing under yellow, basically, on the pit entry. I might have got one anyway, because I passed cars on the restart, because a couple of guys got together and spun right in front of me anyway. So I don't know if I would have got a passing before the start-finish line penalty anyway. But disappointing. We didn't really have great pace, but I sort of played a gamble on the strategy to see if the safety car would come out when I pitted. I don't know, I was still 15 laps to go, so I knew we could make it with a bit of saving under yellow. So the safety car would come out immediately, which it didn't. So I had older tyres than everyone else. I just took a punt, thought we'd come down and get fresh ones under the last caution and try and drive back to the front, but not to be tonight.
Our numbers suggested somewhere between, if you were burning 2.8 a lap, it was going to be 12.46 laps to a tank. If you were burning 2.5, you're going to get 14.16 or something around those numbers. So basically, you needed to save a fair bit during the safety car to then have a full crack in the final 9 laps. Yeah.
Yeah, I could make it 14 laps with a little bit of saving, not much. So I was on to make 14 laps in the second run in that race, and it just meant taking it a little bit easy. So I figured I could do 15 with the caution. It was really just banking on the yellow coming out straight away, though, because if it didn't come out straight away, then I was going to be stuck on old tyres. So there was a bit of a punt that I would be able to. It was the earliest I could pit and make it, and if I got lucky with the safety car, it would have put me in a great position. But as soon as it didn't come out within that next lap, I was going to be toast anyway. So it was a gamble to try and get a better result than what it deserved. I think we should have run 4th, maybe top 3, depending on what happened with Cal. But obviously, Posy got a swift kick with his internet dropout as well. So ultimately, we should have run, maybe top 3. And I didn't get any incidents, so I was banking on making some points there. But the bad result in the end sort of gives us a kick in the championship now. So we're with a dropout that we had at Montreal, then now we're a bit toast.
I'm looking forward to seeing, and I know Adam Lavis will be crunching the numbers, exactly what all of tonight, because it is a fairly muddled up top 10, what it does to that championship equation once you take into the count back and the drop rounds into consideration. Last one for you, Brenton, because I know you've got to go, mate. Obviously, well done again on the TCR triumph, but with regards to this race, the penalty more specifically, was it an iRacing issued one, or was it in-house here? Just for the clarification of us and also the viewers.
It was an iRacing one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It just so it'll detect that I crossed the pit entry line, which is right at the start of the pit wall on the pit lane. It detected at that point that I'd passed cars that were on the track, and I gassed. It was a mistake because I gassed it up to catch the car that was in front of me coming into the lane. But even if I rolled around at the safety car pace, I would have actually still passed cars because you got to go a lot further around that final corner on the racetrack. Right. Yeah. So you actually have to slow right up to avoid getting a penalty. I did the opposite. I sped up. I just completely didn't think of it. But even if I was just maintaining the pace that I was doing behind the safety car, I still would have picked up that penalty. It's not a flaw with the system, but it's just the way that it handles it. Like, it considered that I passed someone under yellow and then hit the pit lane. So I was not happy with it because obviously I feel like it was a bit unjust, but that's just the way the system is, and I've been around long enough that I should know better. But obviously it ruined my night, so disappointed with that.
Thoughts on the next couple of rounds, because we've got 2 Bathursts in there and a member vote in between.
So probably 3 Bathurst if it's up to the members.
No,
I
mean, not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Not going to have
it's been overruled.
No,
it's been overruled.
As much as I like
the schedule, so.
Yeah, okay. As much as I enjoy the track, I don't want to be going there 3 weeks in a row. But
agreed.
Bathurst, we'll see how we go. We ran okay there. That was, I think, my first race in the series last time, and I think we got 3rd behind Posy and Cal. So I don't know. We'll see. Just week in and week out at the minute, I don't have the pace for those guys. So I'm enjoying jumping in the prod cars and just having a fang in there instead of focusing on trying to find the 1 or 2 tenths I might squeeze out with an extra dozen laps of practice.
Can you do us a favour, Brenton, and not jump in the prod cars?
Oh, maybe. We'll see. It just depends on the night. But Bathurst is always good fun. I mean, it doesn't matter what car it is. It's always good fun. So we'll enjoy that. Hopefully we get a good pick for the fan vote. We'll see what comes up with that, but hopefully we get a pretty good track for that too, and give it a fang.
Well done, mate. Obviously hard luck in the stock car. You still come home in position number 10 in the end, but it's a little bit of a hit to the championship. We'll catch up with you again on Monday night for what will hopefully be another cracking instalment of the GT series.
Yeah, looking forward to it. See you then.
Well done, mate. Brenton Hobson joining us in the chat room. He was on borrowed time, so we had to get to him first, and we appreciate him for sticking around as long as he did. No offense to our friends in Bathurst, by the way. I love that part of the world for very obvious reasons. It used to be home. They observe daylight saving and all the other intelligent things that Queensland don't. I love Bathurst, but 3 weeks in a row when we've got so many tracks at our disposal, shut up, Paul, is just a little bit. It's just a little bit too much. So that's why we're saying, yes, the fan vote is being led with Bathurst at the moment, but it's been overruled by committee and commentators alike. Glenn Postlethwaite, let's go to the obvious thing. Was it the internet again?
He may not be able to talk. Oh, yep. Okay, sorry.
It's dropping in and out. So
unlucky, mate. Obviously, that's very frustrating because the race was going to plan for you. You obviously qualifying didn't go to plan, as Cal alluded to a few moments ago there, and we've just lost Posy, unfortunately. So the internet's still continuing to play silly buggers down there. But we say thank you to Glenn for dropping in. I'll go to you, Nick, on Glenn Postlethwaite, and then focus on you. The race had gone to script for him from what we were watching here. I don't know how much of what was going on around you were able to take in while focusing on your own race, but with him and Watmore burning from the stern because qualifying didn't go to plan, it was an interesting race. It was an interesting setup already. Postlethwaite was able to navigate his way through the traffic a lot better than Cal, and everything was going to script. it's an absolute pain in the backside to have the internet drop out and just ruin your night, isn't it?
It's happened to all of us. We know what it's like. It's absolute garbage. Is the
It's
nicest way
like
to
a
put it.
tyre going flat, isn't it? Like, you know, it's like, really?
I equate it to like an electrical gremlin.
Yeah, exactly.
Like your ignition system's not firing. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And Glenn was popping up in front of me. Then all of a sudden he disappeared. I'm like, oh, am I in third? No, I'm not in third. And the next thing you know, he's right in front of me, and then he disappears again. Uh-oh. So I got my spotter crew chief, Josh Millard, onto it. I said, click on the entries and just double check his ping, and it said it was through the roof.
Yeah, so Glenn actually set the fastest time, so 1:31.1. So
wow.
Even with internet issues, he still set the fastest time. So, you know, unfortunate for Glenn to have that issue. I mean, it happens to all of us. We do have those issues. So,
I mean, Glenn, Cal, and Michael all set 31, so I thought it was going to be those three in the top three. But yeah, unfortunate for Glenn.
Exactly right, mate. Well done to you firstly. We'll come back and talk about your race in just a moment. Michael Schreier, can I just say well done, because I haven't seen anyone outside of Glenn give Cal Watmore that big of a hurry up throughout the course of the season. You held your own tonight. You led at points. You were being pursued by Glenn. You were being pursued by Cal. You stuck with them as best you can, and you've come home and reaped the rewards of second, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, mate. That was a really good race. Started off with pole position, first pole position in the series. And yeah, just kept getting better from there. Just made one mistake in the pit stop. Didn't even stop right in the box. I had to reverse back a bit.
Yep.
So that cost me Posy getting in front. But then he had his own dramas. So, and then the battle with Cal was just great side by side action there. I really enjoyed that. We
had a question come through on our broadcast server Facebook feed here, and it was from actually I'm not even going to try and pronounce who it's from, but they'll know who. Thank you from the Twitch audience. Thank you.
There you go.
That makes it easier. The question was, and I'll ask it to you, Michael, because you were in the thick of that top three battle and you came in before the safety car rather than going in during the safety car. Did you drive your own race, or were you influenced by what was happening around you?
Not at all. I've seen Posy gaining on me, and we're both in Discord. We said, let's just pit now, get it out of the way, because we knew there was going to be a safety car, and we knew we could make it home on fuel, having the safety car lap. So yeah, that was the way to go. So that was the strategy: come in and try and hold everyone off. But we knew Cal was fast, and I knew he was going to come for us. I just had nothing at the end, and but I enjoyed it. It was good.
How were you on fuel? Because this is something we didn't get to touch on with Glenn, and I might even come back to Cal on it, because you went the opposite strategy of everyone else around you. You were in the pit lane before the caution came out. There was no benefit in going in during the caution to lose all the track time you'd already gained. How were you on the fuel saving, and how much was left in the tank when you crossed the line?
Well, I wasn't fuel saving at all, and I still managed to save fuel. I don't know how it works, but yeah, I still had 2 laps in hand after the checkers. So
not bad at all. Not bad at all. How about you, Cal?
Yeah, I think we were well safe. Our range was about 12 laps, and we had 9 to go. So I think we were pretty golden. But yeah, mega fight with Michael for it, and he really fought back hard. Like when I got it, it wasn't like I drove away. He had mega braking performance at both the hairpins on me. I was really touchy on the rear locking, and Michael was just monstering me. And yeah, I had to use every bit of my focus and self-control on the throttle to finally get him off my bumper. It was bloody fun.
Yeah, no, it was a good battle.
It was a terrific battle. It was one of the best battles of the night. In fact, at this point, I might even see if Nick and Paul can crunch some numbers and see who was doing what in terms of incident points. We're watching the highlights courtesy of Robert Hazeldine and Do Drift Esports at the moment. You're watching our post-race show for Friday Night Motorsport, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, courtesy of Voculair, LJ Hooker-Gander, and Central Coast Subaru. Who haven't we spoken? Oh, well, there's a fair few people in here that we haven't spoken to yet. Nick, please.
Adam got a donut.
Very nice.
I think Brenton Hobson got a donut, and that was it.
Wow. That's rare that we have that much drama on a Friday night. Normally there's about 3 or 4 drivers that are sitting there on the duck egg, but obviously Phillip Island has brought out all the drama in the world tonight. Speaking of which, Trent Lavis, let's go to you. And firstly, can we say hard luck with Noosa, because even though you won the thing, you're now repairing the car as a result of an incident up there and getting it ready to go back into real world motorsport in the next couple of weeks. But secondly, what happened on the restart, because all hell broke loose?
I think young Christopher there just thought he could see through walls from over there and didn't think I was there, so he tried to drive straight through me, unfortunately. So I got a nice little bumper ornament, and then I ended up getting a wall ornament as well. I'm getting used to hitting these walls, but it's luckily enough I can recover quick enough. By the way, the S15's fixed and ready to rip.
Excellent. Good to hear. That's obviously explaining why you're in the server tonight. Okay, so let's throw it around to Chris. Hello, Chris Whitaker. Does that, what Trent's saying there, explain why you were halfway across the grass there on the main straight off that restart as well? Because I didn't actually see the incident properly myself, if I'm honest.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to remodel his stock car to make it look like the Sylvia last weekend. It was looking a little bit straight. So we're coming onto the straight there. I thought,
nice
I won't be able to catch him after, so I'll just do it now and just gave him a little nudge. And I thought the guys would run up front. I don't know. I was obviously seeing and hearing things after I watched the replay. I was a couple of tenths too early, and I was wide open throttle when before Glenn had even started squeezing it. So my cock up that one. Sorry, Trent. Already apologised to him. It's not good. I genuinely think I actually just took him out of the race there for a race win as well, because he had some pretty bloody good pace and fresh boots and all the rest on as well. So. And he was on 0 incidents before that as well, so just the icing on the cake. Just ruined his race, but unfortunately, we'll call that one I don't know, payback from the Charlotte or something like that we agree to disagree on. But, no, look, it's not good. I've had it happen to myself as well in various races, but these things happen unfortunately sometimes.
Hats off Chris for putting your hand up, by the way.
Yeah, well, I can't argue it.
It'd be nice to actually happen more often.
Well, it's probably worthy of a replay in slow mo if you can find it, just so we can see exactly how closely remodeled to the Sylvia it was.
To be fair, it had a bit of extra aero on the back. I think it had a little Mercedes sort of V-wing setup going on. bit of a blown diffuser because my boot was actually in my rear seat. So
it's all gone to hell very, very quickly here on a Friday night, ladies and gentlemen.
Do we need to throw out the parental advising for language from now on? So.
I think so, and it actually needs to go out at the start of the broadcast after the performance from a couple of people that are regulars in the commentary box tonight. But no further comment on that, Your Honour. There's the incident with Trent Lavis on your screen now, folks. Rob's just rewinding to the spot. Here we go. Now this is interesting because you can see the two car links there between Chris and Trent. So basically, what Chris has said is right, that he's just hit the gas and gone.
And there were usual games going on.
Let's watch it now. And bang, yeah.
I got him a good one.
You got him a good one.
Didn't even put the right bloody spec cap on either.
Into the wall.
No redress. Yeah,
I redressed. Look, I'll pull over here. You'll see me in the grass. There you go.
There's Chris in the grass and away it goes. Oh dear. So that explains that, because basically I was focusing on up front and I didn't actually. It wasn't until Trent was in the wall that I saw what had gone on, and I was like, "Hang on, what the hell's happened here?" So let's redress on all of that.
Chris's onboard's the best angle.
Well, this is true too. So if we can get Chris's onboard,
I want accelerated, just Chris.
Paul Nichols, on that subject, we didn't hear much from you from Race Control. I take it you're going to have a look at this one after the fact, but was there anything else of note throughout the course of the hour?
Not at the moment, no. I mean that's fantastic. I mean, I really a judge, jury,
wow,
gone.
Guilty.
The most important thing, redress. I think that's happened. So we don't need to rule on that. As long as it's redress, it's all good.
You know, it took half of that to redress. It's all right.
Half a lap. If you're driving a bit faster, it wouldn't have been so long, mate. That's in the right direction. It would have been an issue.
He's on the grass.
All right, let's bring some control back here, because basically what happened there with that incident between Trent and Chris, and then of course Brenton getting his drives or his stop and hold or whatever it was, that took 3 of our contenders out. Then Glenn Postlethwaite had net code issues, and that took a 4th out, and all of a sudden the fight was then between Carl Watmore and Michael Schreier. We were talking about the potential of Chris being on the podium or Trent being on the podium, or obviously that usual jockeying and dueling of Postlethwaite and Watmore, and we got none of that. We've got an incredibly mixed up top 10 at the end of the night here. Adam Lavis, can I come to you? Because I'm going to come to Nick towards the back end, because he's always here at the end of the broadcast, and talk about his race, because I know he'll be exceptionally happy at the moment. But as for you, Adam Lavis, you must be stoked with 4th.
Yeah, that's my best result in the stock cars. I think it's my best result other than my unofficial win at Phillip Island in the GT3s last season. So
yes, correct.
Damn, congrats, Adam.
Yeah, no,
well,
absolutely.
Great drive, man.
And it just goes that to show that perseverance pays off, because I mean, you're relatively new to the sim racing scene, as am I, as are a few other people. And inch by inch, week by week, you're just chipping away at it. And tonight, you've reaped the rewards.
Yeah, like in practice, I felt like I was like nowhere. I was spinning everywhere. I was basically doing race runs, and after 4 or 5 laps, the tires turned the jello, and it was freaking ridiculous. And then we did qualifying, and I messed up the last 2 corners. And I still did a 32, and I was like, "Hang on, that's fast for me." So. And in the race, I just managed to conserve tyres and kept the sensors.
But also, Adam, as well, 0 incident points. Hats off, man. That's a really tough track to have 0.
I know, Jackson almost ruined that before the start. So.
I nearly ruined it twice.
Oh dear. On that subject, Jackson Rayhana, let's bring you in. It's been a not too bad a night at the office for you, mate. Obviously a solid result in production cars, and now a top 5 in the stock cars. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Yeah, obviously a bit of luck had to go my way, and I had a couple of hard charging guys coming through, and getting past. But I was happy I was able to stick on there in the end. Adam was just too good, too classy. Looked after his tyres a bit better than I did, and drove away from me in the end there. Had a bit of a jump scare moment with Glenn popping up right beside me.
Yes.
Through Honda, so yeah, that was fun. My spotter and Nick got an earful when that happened, so apologies to them. And also apologies to Brendan. I think I gave him 8 incident points over the night, and I think I see him pulling here. I think he had to take a drive through, maybe because of the incidents. I'm not sure. I'd say that's likely. But both of them are my fault. One of them was he went around the outside at Hayshed, and the thing just didn't want to turn right for me, so I'm like, turn, you insert bad word here.
Yes.
And then off the restart, at that restart, wasn't the only Whittaker to suffer from cars checking up in front, or I gave him a serve at the start there. Just wasn't really paying as much attention as I probably should have. But so massive apologies to Brendan. Both incidents were completely unintentional.
Indeed. Nico's just showing me the results of the on the Discord server here, the production car race, but I've actually already got them, so I can go back to watching the on-air feed, which is a good thing. Thank you, Paul, anyway. I appreciate that. And I'll come back to Nick and Paul with regards to drivers of the night and everything else a little bit later on in the broadcast. Carl Watmore, let's talk to you. Actually, I'll get everyone to chime in.
me as like must have gone on practice time. And so we were both carving through best we could and keeping our noses clean. So it was interesting from that perspective.
Indeed. Anyone else want to chime in there? We've lost Trent Lavis out of the chat room. We've lost. Actually, no, sorry, we haven't. We've still got you there. I just noticed that we're not in alphabetical order because you're showing a stream of your the repairs of your car, mate. What about you in terms of following the leader or sticking to your own strategy? What was the go?
I just made it up as I went, to be honest.
Well, okay, that's no real different to usual for you on a Friday night, am I right? How much practice did you do tonight? On that note,
I probably did about, I don't know, a dozen or so, maybe a little bit more laps in the practice, like the official practice session, but nothing up until today.
Okay, fair enough. About standard procedure. Chris Whitaker, what about your strategy, mate?
My strategy went out the window when I decided to try to do a couple of donuts at MG in about lap 4. So I was just.
Oh yes, thank you for reminding me. What happened there?
Oh, I just stuffed it. So just compression lock come down the hill, and I struggled all night, to be honest, with the track. I just couldn't click with it. I had just pretty poor pace and absolutely terrible tyre life, worse than I think. I won't say worse than anyone else, but I won't be far off the back. So it was just just couldn't really click with the track tonight. But no, same story. No practice. I just jumped in for the practice session this afternoon. So maybe I'll just need to pull my finger out and start sticking a couple of hours in again and see if we can get back up towards the front there.
Did you get on the throttle too early, Chris?
No, it was the J-Dub special, carry the rears in the whole way through. So.
You idiot.
Oh, I love it. Hey, top 9 separated by 26 seconds tonight. I think that's important to note. I feel as though the field's getting a little bit closer as the weeks go on here in the Stock Car Series, which is testament to everyone that's coming in and giving it a crack and committing to it. Connor Brown, let's go to you, though. You were one of a few cars a lap down at the end there. You finished slotted in behind Parry and Astakis. 14th, not a regular on the Stock Car grid, but what'd you make of tonight?
Yeah, bloody awesome, mate. That's the first time I've ever driven the car. I didn't get a chance to do any practice after production. Just jumped in and thought, I've thrown myself in the deep end here.
Yeah. I was going to say, Nick, I'll come to you on this. Your recruiting mission proved a success. We had a lot of cars in the server. We had 21 start the race, but a few of them threw the tail in very, very early.
Sink or swim.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's everybody who's stuck with it. Ask Jackson. I keep saying ask Jackson because it's one of those ones where if you stick with it, it all clicks, and it really puts the emphasis on fundamentals, braking in a straight line, coming off the brakes nicely, getting on the throttle nicely. Everybody's too abrupt, and it's only 4 speed. Everybody thinks it might be like a 6 or a 7 speed, and so they bang the gears down, compression locks, stuff like that. So it really gets you thinking back to the basics. Really good car, and everybody said it, that's done it for a long time. You improve in this car, you'll improve on all cars.
Indeed, you do. Okay, let's have a look at the updated championship status. Stick there, boys, because there's a few more topics to discuss yet. I'm just waiting for us to tick over to, an M-rated time in Western Australia. Actually, no, we're already there. We're okay. Updated championship standings. Let's go to stock cars first, and I'll run through production cars in just a moment. 269 for Glenn Postlethwaite, 223 for Cal Watmore, 220 for Brenton Hobson, and 204 for Michael Schreier, 183 for Nick. He's jumped up into the top 5. Trent Lavis, 181. Brendan Whitaker, 173. Adam Lavis, 172. 167 for Jackson Rayhana. Locked and loaded with Chris Whitaker on 167. So Rayhana and Whitaker side by side there with 3 rounds to go. But the count back system, the drop your worst 2 round system, really helps Glenn Postlethwaite out on a night like tonight. He remains 46 points clear of Cal Watmore. Had it been any other week, Nick, the championship would be wide open yet again, wouldn't it?
Yeah, look, I still think it is. Anything can happen, as tonight proved.
Well, this is true.
People falling off the road, electrical troubles, penalties, all sorts of things. Anything can happen.
Now, let's talk to you about your race, because we have to say well done. You've got yourself onto the podium. You'd be delighted with that. Obviously, you've racked up an incident point somewhere along the way, so I'm sure you're disappointed about not getting the 5 bonus points. But a top 3, Phillip Island, in a race that had absolutely everything. what was the strategy play, and how bad was the tyre wear? Because that was the big thing you were focusing on leading in.
Well, I'll start with a question. What do I do each week? I saved fuel. This week I sprinted. So, because the tyres weren't going to last. They just will not last. I remember doing some testing earlier in the week, and they went from 33s out to 36s within 4 laps. So I sprinted, and I think I got 13 laps on my first tank. I pitted behind Hobbo. But those guys at the front, they're just ridiculous on the first lap. They pulled out. Hobbo pulled out a good 3-4 seconds on that first lap, and I can't stick with him, so I had to try and use my noggin a bit, and I pitted 13 laps from the end because I knew I could do 13, which just happened to be when the safety car came out. So I was like, oh no, I'm getting a penalty.
Oh, that was convenient, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't it? I thought I was getting a penalty, but the pit lane was still open, so I was like, bugger it, I'm through.
Excellent. And just to reiterate, before Chris or anyone else protests, Nico actually had to be reminded to put in the automatic or the competition caution number tonight, because when I mentioned it to him on lap 13, he was like, oh, hang on, I haven't done that yet. So Nick didn't even know when that competition caution was coming out tonight, just as he doesn't any other week, just for anyone that might have been wondering. But yeah, in the final stages there, mate, you were well positioned, and you among other people wouldn't have believed the rubbish that was happening around you.
I was well aware of it. My spotter, Jackson, myself, we were seeing it all, seeing what was going on. It was just one of those races where each week I turn up and I keep getting, back in the top 10, that kind of thing. I did get 2 top 5s, but you just have to be consistent and keep showing up. And a freak night like tonight, Brenton getting a drive through right in front of me, Chris tossing it away at turn 4. I was expecting Trent to come up behind me, and he got punted out of the way. So there's 3 people off the back gone, and then in the closing stages I'd settled for 4th, and then Glenn kept popping up everywhere. I'm like, uh-oh, what's his ping? What's his ping? He's on 2,500. Oh yes, keep going, and I got 3rd. So just got to keep with it.
So how much did you pay Chris, Nick?
He hasn't yet. We're still going to discuss that later. So,
oh dear. See, it always gets out of control on a Friday night, folks. This is one of our favourite post-race shows of any given week for very good reason as well. Phillip Island throws up some great racing, but obviously next week, the mountain, we know Glenn will be strong. Cal, what more? Can you edge him off top spot for the 3rd week in a row when we get to the mountain, because you were only a couple of car lengths away last time?
Ooh, we'll see. Yeah, if I'm smart enough, I can go all right at Bathurst. Do we know what track the vote is yet?
No, not as yet. Although it won't be Bathurst, although that is leading the way.
Good,
no
yeah. Once isn't up there.
Yeah. Well, actually, you've got round 8 and 10 at Bathurst. So round 9, that's why we're not doing it 3 in a row.
That's a lot of Bathurst, really? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Look, there are some people out there, Cal, and I don't know why. Actually, I do know why, but I just, anyway, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. There are some people out there who, if we were to say, here's a 10-round series of exactly the same format, exactly the same, whatever, and this track is Bathurst, people would sign up for it in droves. It's just got that sort of appeal, that sort of draw.
It definitely does. I suppose we'll be bloody good at it by the 3rd visit. Hey. We'll be getting sharp to put on a good show.
All right, we'll hang around for a little while, because we've got Paul Nichols and Nick with potentially some news regarding week 9 very shortly. Let's continue the discussion here. Chris, it hasn't been the greatest season for you, but you'd obviously be looking to the last 3 weeks, hoping that you can finish it off strong.
Yeah, no, Bathurst next week. We'll definitely put some practice in. Oh, actually, no, I won't. No, we're both out for next week. Actually, yeah, we're out at Warwick. So
that's right, you are too. And
I'm up north all week working, so no practice through the week. But Bathurst 2 weeks later, so we'll get back and
seek some redemption.
Yeah, behind the 8 ball a little bit from the rest of the field, but we'll stick a couple of hours in and we'll see if we can learn how to drive these bloody things again. And hopefully I don't have a repeat of last season, and see if we can keep it to turn 1.
Exactly. And Trent, it becomes hard to juggle the iRacing commitments once the real world stuff fires back up, as you've already illustrated. You there, Trent?
Hold on, let me just hit him.
I reckon he's gone for a spicy cola.
Yeah.
I reckon he's gone for a spicy cola. Hey, Jackson, I'll come to you since you're there. You must be really looking forward to the next 3 weeks, given how good this week's played out for you in just about everything you've put your focus on. Every single race you've featured prominently throughout the course of the week. It's been a very good week for you.
Yeah, it's been a strong week. Besides last night and my Formula 3, like, it's quickest in practice, but then again, just, as Nick put it very well, I just and still in quali mode at the beginning of the race and put it in the wall. So was on for probably, another top 3 in that very competitive series, but oh well. But yeah, other than that, yeah, really, really good week for me, and yeah, probably my best yet, and in my very short time in sim racing, so I'm happy.
And obviously we know real world racing isn't on the agenda at the moment, but obviously with a few boys disappearing from the grid for next week, must fill you with a little bit of confidence to improve on what you've already launched this week.
Yeah, look, unfortunately it's not the way that I want it to happen. Obviously I'd like them here racing, but Chris not being here next week will be good for my championship. Like, my aim was to finish top 10 in the stock cars, so my aim was to finish top 10 in every series I've competed in, and I'm doing that now, just bar the GT3s, which I'm 11th, so, and just behind Adam.
And
so,
3 weeks to go to try and get into the 10s. So.
Yeah, so nearly, I don't want to pop the champagne just yet, but I'm getting pretty close. So, yeah, that'll really round off a good rookie season for me, I think.
Indeed, it will. Hey, Connor Brown, I just got told not to forget you, but I have already asked you one question, so I'll ask you another one. Now that you've had a taste of the stock cars, do you want more?
Maybe not Bathurst, but absolutely, mate. It was bloody awesome.
That's great, because that's what Nick's recruitment drive is all about, Nick, isn't it? Just trying to get people in to get a taste of it, to say, hang on, I really like this, let's commit to doing more.
100%. And for a first drive to come through only a lap down, very good.
Exactly.
Can I just say, I don't think I've ever sweat so much playing a video game.
Yeah, it was a fairly sweaty night for everyone, I'd say. Cal, you normally work out fairly hard on these things. How were you at the end?
Yeah. I guess I was driving a little, I don't know, smarter or something, and I don't know, maybe that's why I was bowling off the road, because I was just putting a little less effort in. So yeah, still sweaty, but yeah, the battle with Michael, got me working out at the end. Yeah, until then my brain wasn't in the gear, so I don't know. Yeah, good fun.
Exactly. Chris Whitaker, come to you for a moment. Nice to see a livery change. I know the Victorians don't feel as offended without the words coronavirus being plastered all over their television screens. What was the reason for this particular choice this week?
I have no idea what this livery is. That's a combination of God knows what spec map. I don't know how I went wrong there. That's one we ran last season, which is the livery that I had on's the same as my race car, and then just the reverse for Brendan. So, but yeah, the spec map's all on the piss. So I don't know what's going on there. So, obviously just load the wrong one up for both cars. So it looks a little bit funny.
Speaking of liveries, I'll come back to you, Chris, because there's another question that I want to raise with you in a moment. Jackson, you had a different livery tonight as well. Talk us through that.
Do you recognise it from anywhere? I said it was a surprise.
That's sick.
Yeah, I do, but I'm not as NASCAR centric as Cal. So go on, let everyone know, please.
Days of Thunder, Cold Trickle. He's his livery after he ran the City Chevrolet. So he wins a race, then he gets all the sponsorship. That's the one I'm running because it's pink. I chose, and Nick found that one for me too. He's like, "Oh, I've got a pink livery for you." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, cool."
Very
so that
nice.
one, I'm like, "Yeah, that's sick. I'm running that now."
I have watched that movie, but it has been a couple of years. Well,
boo! Incorrect. Old Spice.
That's a job for Chris.
Swagger.
Now, actually, if anyone remembers the Puma pants joke from the 12 Man records, you'll know where I'm going next when I go back to Chris Whitaker, because of something that I've just sent him. So I'll get to him in a moment. Rob, I'm going to throw it open to the floor. Who's in favour? Because obviously Rob's labelled Talladega Nights as the NASCAR film. Who's against that, and who goes with Days of Thunder? Because I've watched both, and I'm a fan of both because, let's face it, sports films. But if you were to pick one, and I'm going to give it to Cal Watmore first, and if anyone disagrees, we will go from there.
Talladega Nights is the most embarrassing thing. It should never have come out. It is a disgrace, disgusting, sacrilege. Days of Thunder is the only movie.
All right, just settle down, you.
He's on fire.
Dead set. All right, Nick, because you're also a North American motorsport fan.
Days of Thunder.
Sorry, Rob, you're outvoted. Jackson.
Oh, look. Yeah.
Don't sit on the fence, Jackson.
Days of Thunder. I mean, but with that said, every time Nick and I are behind each other, or one in front, every single time, and Nick will vouch for me for this, I'll literally be saying, shake and bake, shake and bake, shake and bake, Nick, let's go, come on, shake and bake. So,
Paul Nichols. Sorry, Jackson, I'll come back to you. Paul
Has
Nichols.
to be Days of Thunder. Has to be.
Adam Lavis.
Days of Thunder.
Chris Whitaker.
You don't need to ask any more questions.
Bake,
Done.
I don't think any of us are coming back.
Yeah. Shake and bag.
Oh, so you're going Talladega Nights.
I'm
Okay.
with Talladega. I'm with Ricky.
Whoever drives with paddle shift is not a valid opinion.
Connor, if you were to chime in on this debate.
I'm on fire! No, it's got to be Days of Thunder, boys. Come on.
Yep.
Correct.
And Trent Lavis.
I cherish my friendship with Cal, so I'm going to go Talladega Nights, and I want to be off the Christmas garden.
Oh boy, oh boy. So the room is somewhat divided, but more of us are in the Days of Thunder corner than the Talladega Nights. Okay, fair enough. Moving on. Next debate. Dr. Pepper or Coca? No, I'm not going there. I'm not getting Rob started on Dr. Pepper. No. That's almost as bad as getting me started on something else. Now, yes. Now, the reason why I wanted to come back to Chris Whitaker on the subject of pants and whatever, and a few other things. There was an Instagram post from Australia's lady racer, porn star, lady racer, whatever you want to call it, earlier in the week. And I was a little bit surprised that I didn't see the OnlyFans livery on your car tonight.
Actually, it's on that spec map on the bonnet.
Okay, good.
I didn't mean to do that, but it looks like she's trying to get a little bit better turn in. She's got a little bit of a raised rear ride height now.
Understood.
So just trying to pitch a little bit better on turning.
For anyone that needs clarification on what we're talking about, Renee Gracie has put an Instagram post up yesterday saying, "Cat's out of the bag. I got a rear end adjustment. Go check out my Brazilian butt lift." Now, of all the most ridiculous things I've ever seen people spend, see, it just goes hand in hand that with the old logic that just because you've got money doesn't mean you should have money, because let's face it, there are far better things to spend it on than that rubbish. Fair dinkum.
Brains.
Money and common sense don't necessarily go hand in hand. But hello to Gracie if she's tuning in to do a drift eat. Probably not. So that, I'm looking forward to seeing the OnlyFans livery back next week with Chris Whitaker.
She's not doing that because she's, a college graduate, is she?
Well, this is a fair point. We are indeed. We're the family-friendly one.
We tackle all the issues in the media.
Yeah.
I think you need to weigh out the bank for back there.
Hopefully they don't do it in the same room.
I've got to say, it is better bang for the buck, mate.
Absolutely.
But
it was destroyed.
The show.
And let's be honest, we're talking car porn when we talk about Do a Drift Esports, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's just and I know, and And I know, actually, let's not even suggest it. And let's be perfectly honest, I actually have worked with people that have referred to race cars as sexy, as gorgeous, as everything else. And can I clarify the other point that I got my Dual Drift Esports subscription for free because I'm the commentator, which frees me up to spend. Actually, no, I don't have money to spend at the moment because another millionaire isn't paying me. So let's just not go there at the moment either. But I just wanted to clarify that, yes, I'm actually budgeting at the moment, which is clearly something that the porn industry doesn't have to worry about. Let's straighten it. I told you it gets out ahead on a Friday night.
Try the night.
Exactly. It's been fun. Let's start to wrap this up. Driver of the night, Paul Nichols and Nico Pop, your nominations, please.
I'm going to go production cars, Jackson.
Okay.
Rihanna. So started P6, finished P3, 0 incident points. That's my first choice.
Yep.
And then also in stock cars, like to jump in that series and it's a tough car drive. So P8 for start position and then finished up in P5. So yeah, good job.
Indeed, Nick.
Sorry, hold on. I've got feedback.
You can't vote for yourself, by the way, Nick.
I'm not going to vote for myself. I've only got the stock car results up, but Trent from 17th to 7th, a fantastic drive. But Jack Alesi, first time in here, started 9th up to 6th, only 4 incident points for a first time to have a run. Fantastic job.
Well done.
If I had a vote, I'd vote Jack as well. That's awesome. And he wasn't going away at the end of the race either. He stuck with me.
And I think, Nick, the fact that we're seeing the field closer at the end, I mean, yeah, okay, tonight we had a few incidents that played out a bit differently than what they normally would. But to have the top 9 there, separated by 26 seconds is a good sign for the series going forward.
Oh, yeah. That safety car right at the end bunched it all up. But, yeah, those front guys are just get away. It's just too hard to keep with them.
Indeed it is. Let's have a look at the results from the production car race just to recap, and also the stock car race, and then I've got the production car championship points for you as well. Brenton Hobson getting the job done from 24th on the grid to 1st. Matt Stratford 2nd. Jackson Rayhana 3rd. Simon Ferris 4th in what was a classic TCR race at the Island. Brett Selbywood 5th. Solid performance. Michael Hammond uncharacteristically down the order in 6th. Ben Collard, Chris Stark, and then also Lee Williamson and Rick Vincent made up the top 10. Starkey actually deserves a vote for 22nd to 8th. That's a nice performance from him.
Definitely good drive.
And outside, there's not really much to mention there as far as the...
Hang on.
Hang on. Sorry. Paul Nichols, 11th. Okay, I got it in there. Although he was 9 seconds off 10th, so it wasn't as though it was a close 11th, Nico, but it's still 11th, and you're still on the lead lap. As far as the stock cars were concerned, Cal Watmore, Michael Schreier, Nick, then Adam Lavis, Jackson Rayhana, Jack Alesi, Trent Lavis, Chris Whittaker, Brendan Whittaker, and Brenton Hobson, the top 10. The mover of the night, Trent Lavis, as Nick said, 7th, and Cal Watmore from 14th to 1st. So from that standpoint, you've got to give a nod to Cal. You've got to give a nod to Trent, who also managed to bounce back to 7th after being sent. We'll just get that in there again because everyone else has had a dig at Chris Whittaker, so why not me? And of course, in the production cars, Brenton Hobson from 24th to 1st. You can't look past that. 22nd to 8th, as I said, for Chris Stark. So take your pick out of all of that, but I think the boys have summed it up there with Trent and Jack Alesi in the stock cars. And who'd you say? You said Jackson in the podcast, didn't you, Nico? So
yep.
Is that. I'm going to have a look at MotoGP practice results for you in just a moment. But firstly, the footy codes. Carlton, 7-18. Just let that sink in for a moment. How inaccurate's the kicking there? 18 behinds. My God. The only sport where you get a point for missing. It's beautiful. 60 played 27. So 7-18 played 4-3. Carlton home by 33 points over the Gold Coast. The Broncos woes continue, however, in the main in the NRL because they've gone down 28-24 tonight. At least they were in contention. The Broncos going down to the Dragons 28-24 and the Panthers getting the job done 38-12 over the Sharks. Pretty good night, that. Final. What are we up to this weekend? Because obviously, real world motor racing comes back to Queensland again next weekend. 2 meetings in the south, 150 kilometres apart. You know my views on date clashes; it's garbage. But also, we've got a meeting up north as well, and we believe that there's a couple more on the way to be announced. But you didn't hear it from me. What are we up to this weekend? Start with you, Cal Watmore.
Let me see. I think we might be hitting the carts up tomorrow, possibly, and not sure what else. Bit of babysitting for me once I've had my fun on the carts. So yeah, not too exciting.
Hey, nothing wrong with babysitting, mate. Enjoy those precious moments. They grow up so fast. I should know. My niece is 5 next year, and no longer a little kid that you can hold in your arms. Trust me. So they grow up fast. Enjoy those precious moments while you've got them. Chris Whitaker, what's on the agenda for you?
Pretty quiet one, mate. My youngest had her tonsils out on Monday, and tomorrow's supposed to be the D-Day, the worst day. So I doubt we're going to be doing all that much tomorrow. And then Sunday, I'm on my way up to Gladstone to do some work with a mate of mine. Driving through from Brizzy to Gladstone, then Gladstone up to Cairns, and back Friday, then out to Morgan Park next weekend. That's my week.
And of course, that's why we won't see you in the Gentleman Sim Racing Club server next week, but we look forward to checking in the week after. Hey, just on the tonsil front, I take it the little one's enjoying the ice cream and jelly?
Yeah, she's enjoying the ice cream and jelly, but it's a little bit different these days from yesteryear. Half an hour after the operation, they were throwing a sanger at her, so it's just eat anything. Just go for it. So, a little bit different, but no, she's milking it a bit, mate. You know, can I have a lolly? Yeah, just go. Whatever will keep you happy. You're feeling like crap. It's all good, so go for it.
Exactly right. Hey, Trent Lavis has jumped out of the chat room, but we appreciate him coming in for the night. Sorry, Chris, finish it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we'll be tuning in Friday night out at Warwick anyway. So, both myself and Brendan will be out there, and the old fella and a couple of other guys who are out on the cruise. So we'll tune in Friday night, have a couple of brews, and watch all the action at Bathurst anyway.
There was some talk about me going out to Morgan Park to do some commentary for the XLs and Queensland production cars, but the fact that they're not having spectators, as per the press release yesterday, would say that I'll actually be here live next Friday night, folks, rather than out there in Warwick. So that's good news for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, not great news for the wallet. Anyway, the fact of the matter is that we're just about done. Let me throw it around the room. Connor Brown, what are you up to over the course of the weekend? Are you going to get some more time behind the wheel of the stock car to get ready for next week, or the week after, I should say?
Mate, I've got a bit of a deal with the missus. She lets me race 3 days a week, so Saturdays and Sundays are out, unfortunately.
Fair enough. You need to get her into the sim so that she then gets an understanding and appreciation
Ladies' night, Tuesday night.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, she races Tuesdays, but she spends the majority of the race just sort of screaming at me because everything crashes into her. So.
Oh, dear. And what about you, Jackson Rayhana?
Not much. Just practicing again, I think, for next week. Want to obviously have a repeat of this week, my good results. So, yeah, got to keep the practice up. The best way to do it is hard work, I guess.
Paul Nichols, what's the agenda for the club across the course of the weekend?
To be honest, no idea.
Nick, obviously,
you got the schedule in front of me. I don't. So.
Well, I've got the schedule in terms of what we're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But Nick,
PI, is that right?
No. PI's been done. So we've got
what's Monday night?
Suzuka.
Okay, cool.
Suzuka Monday night, Montreal Wednesday night, and Bathurst Friday night. But I'll get to that in a moment in more detail. Nick, obviously, don't worry about Saturday, Sunday. All eyes on Indianapolis, 3:00 Monday morning.
100%. I moved work around just so I could watch it. So I do that every year. So yeah, I'm going to make sure I'm in front of the TV.
Later start time than usual. So for those of you in the West, you have to pull the all-nighter rather than being able to watch it at 12:30 a.m. and being able to go to bed at 4. You'll be pulling the all-nighter with the rest of us and going to bed at 6 a.m. or we go to bed at 8 a.m. But it'll be well worth it. MotoGP, of course, from Styria. I'll get to that in a moment. And Austria. Let's be fair income here. The Grand Prix names that have been attributed to some of these second running this year are absolutely disgraceful.
It's the suburb or something of the
like
province.
It's rubbish. But I've got good news with regards to MotoGP, and that is that Jack Miller has topped the opening practice session for this weekend. He had good pace last week, just the wrong tyre choice.
Andrea Dovizioso, last week's winner, is second fastest. And then, of course, Miguel Oliveira is third. Takaki Nakagami and Juan Mir. Going down the order, Brad Binder, who won a couple of weeks ago, he's seventh fastest. Maverick Vinales, ninth fastest. Fabio Quartararo, Pol Espargaro then follow down the order. Valentino Rossi in 17th. No Marc Marquez on this grid. So the championship campaign now well and truly over, I would suspect. Have a look at Nick doing the doughies there after the race. Wasn't he happy with himself? Very good stuff. As far as all of that's concerned, yeah, it's a massive weekend. There are 2 NASCAR races from Dover. There's obviously, they're not live on Fox, but, you know, their hit and miss relationship with NASCAR this year is absolutely driving us batty. They were live last week, which was good. We've got IndyCar on Monday morning. Carb Day actually being shown live at 1 a.m. So for anyone that wants to stay up late, watch Carb Day from 1 a.m. Eastern time tonight into tomorrow morning. So it's 11 o'clock tonight in the West. And then the race Monday. Obviously, you've got what's happening on and up in Darwin again, Saturday and Sunday, and MotoGP across the course of the weekend as well. So as far as the real world thing is concerned, a lot to look forward to. As far as we're concerned, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, Do a Drift Esports, and yours truly tomorrow morning. I'm on West Bromwich Radio between 9 and midday, so you can tune into that via the West Bromwich Radio app. Bradley will be happy. I'll just get the little plug in there, and I'll be with you exclusively between 10 and 12. Local sport in the first hour, and then, of course, all the national and international in the other 2. So looking forward to that tomorrow morning if I wake up when the alarm goes off. As far as the Gentleman Sim Racing Club is concerned, Monday night, GT Series. We're into round 8 now, folks. Round 8 of the GT Series. We head to Suzuka, Japan. We go to 3 different continents next week. It's going to be an awesome week. We've got all the action Monday night from 8 o'clock for round 8, a pivotal round of the championship, but it'll go a long way to do as well as what Monday night just gone did at Barber Motorsports Park. That was epic stuff. In fact, the whole week's been fantastic. So let's see if Dennis Gaderick can continue his winning streak, or if someone can spring a surprise. Brenton Hobson, Glenn Glenn's not on the grid anymore. He was there, but then he got sick of getting battered from pillar to post. But you've got Jeff Connell, you've got Emmerich Candola, you got Jackson Rayhana, you got a couple of other names worth noting in there as well on a Monday night, and we'll look forward to seeing what plays out there. But Dennis Gaderick has won 4 of the 7 races thus far. It's important to note. Wednesday night, up-and-comers into GT4 TCR, direct from the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada. That is all coming your way from around 7:30 Eastern time, with races at 7:40 and 8:40 respectively. Then, next Friday night from 6:30 Eastern time, and I'm just counting down the days until I have to remind you about 5 different bloody time zones, folks, but the less said about that, the better. We will be coming to you direct from the virtual mecca of Australian motorsport, the wonderful Mount Panorama Bathurst. 6.213 kilometres of absolute heaven for production cars over 45 minutes, stock cars over a lap distance, which takes us to about an hour of racing, and we're looking forward to that immensely. That will be from 6:30 Eastern time next Friday night, all live, free, dangerous, as it was perfectly illustrated tonight, and exclusive to Do a Drift Esports. So we're looking forward to that immensely. Final thoughts on all of that, Nick and Paul. It's been an awesome night, some great entertainment, some great racing, and in fact, the whole week's been bloody good.
I think, sorry, Nick, you go.
I was going to say, it has been bloody good. It just keeps getting better and better each week.
I think it's, the combination we've put together with track cars leading up to the end of the series have been fantastic. So I'm looking forward to round 10. Should be fantastic. Double points. Lots of, we were talking about that today, actually, in the GT series. The top 10 is split by not much at all. So those top 10 get into the top split next season. So there's some really good racing to be had.
Indeed, there is. Brady McHugh was the name I left out in terms of the GT series and the cars to watch, and he'll be out for seeking redemption for last week as well. Production car point standings before we go, because I haven't mentioned that. Stratford takes the lead, 267 plays. Michael Hammond, 243. Actually, sorry, Stratford already had the lead. My apologies, he extended it. Simon Ferris, 234. Rick Vincent, 217. Then Jackson Rayhana, 205. 183 for Nick. 169 for Brenton Hobson. That's not too bad considering that he missed the first round of the series. Chris Stark, 152, 151 for Jonathan Turner. And Tony De Rossi in 10th spot there, 146.
Who's in 11th?
Paul Nichols, 11th, because we normally don't go past 10th. But anyway, Nico is there at 11th on 142 points, closing in on Tony DeRossi, so you just need to get up in front of him there and everything will be good. Well done to Carl Watmore on a great win in the stock cars. Well done to Brenton Hobson on a wonderful win in the production car TCR fight at Phillip Island. It's been a great night of motorsport on Do a Drift Esports, as I say. Next week, Monday, 8 p.m, Wednesday, 7:30, Friday, of course, from 6:30 p.m, and we're looking forward to the final 3 weeks of what's been a cracking second season of iRacing for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club in the year 2020. And Nico, one last question to you before we go. As far as the new season calendars are concerned, it can't be too long now before iRacing releases their official schedule, and therefore we can release what we're doing, because a couple of our calendars will be syncing up.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're trying to align a lot of our series with the official series that members have an opportunity to practice on the official series. So it's not too far away. So we're going to finalise that hopefully this week, but it'll be posted up on our Facebook page. So if you want to join the club, make sure you look us up on Facebook, Gentlemen Sim Racing Club Incorporated. Join us. Have a look at what we do, and jump on board.
Huge thanks as always to Paul Nichols, to Nico Pop, and to Robert Hazeldine, and all the drivers that have come in to have a chat to us throughout the course of the evening. Big thanks to LJ Hooker Gander, Central Coast Subaru, and Oculair, without whom our broadcasts on Do a Drift Esports would not be possible. Thanks as always to those of you that have tuned in at home. We hope you enjoyed the post-race show this evening. Longer than usual, but we did get off the beaten track there a couple of times, and if I'm perfectly honest, we'll be lucky if we don't get sued by someone that was actually tuning in, but that's okay. It's been great fun. We hope you've enjoyed it. It always gets ugly on a Friday night, or hairy, or entertaining, or interesting, or whatever, adjective you want to put in there, but we've had great fun. We hope you have as well. On behalf of the entire Do a Drift Esports Motorsport team, I'm Zach Caden signing off. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy the 500 on Monday morning. Hopefully Will Power or even James Davison, who's in the field, can bring it home for the Aussies for just our second win at the Brickyard. Until we meet on again on Monday night, as I say, have a great weekend. Thanks again for being with us, and we look forward to your company. 8 Eastern time for round 8 of the GT Series Monday night, when we're all running a little bit sleep deprived on the back of the 104th running of the Indianapolis 500. Until then, from all of us here, have a great night. Bye for now.
My friends all say I lost my mind. I keep talking about you all the time. I can't help but treat you like you're mine. Yeah, my friends all say I lost my mind. I keep talking about you. I'm so fucking mad, I know, yeah. 'Cause you're driving me insane. Don't you say I never